In the wrestling world, the people are represented by two separate but unequally important groups. The wrestlers and bookers, who literally do all the hard work, and the fans, who endlessly nitpick and overanalyze everything they do. These are their stories.
Hey! It's Warhorse, and you need to shut your mouth, open your eyes, and clean out your ears, because it's time to listen to the Raw and Order podcast. That's right, they're bringing you the best in all that meaty podcasty goodness in one, what is it, an hour? Two? Who cares? Who gives a shit? You need to listen to it right now, or else Warhorse is gonna, roll your ass!
Welcome to another episode of Raw and Order, the wrestling booking unit, the only wrestling podcast on the planet that has Warhorse introducing him. I said that once before. I suck. I am your host, Detective Mark Sparks, and I am joined, as always, by my partner in crime, fighting District Attorney Vincent K. What's going on, man? How are you?
Well, hi there. Welcome to the show, folks. It's good to have you.
You're just feeling all Mr. Rogers-y because you just put on a sweater?
That's exactly it. You nailed it. It was a lot of fun.
Also joining us are RCMP from up north, JLB. What's going on, man?
I am bringing in the war. I'm bringing in the peace. JLB is here to give you a feast of all your meaty potty goodness. Like my boy Warhorse said, I love his introduction because every time I hear it, I am down. If I'm feeling down, I get right back up and I'm down to do a podcast. So thank you, Warhorse, for doing what you do best, and that's being a hype man.
He's a good
No,
hype
he
man.
wrestles best.
Yeah, he wrestles best. He's a good hype man, but he did
also lose today, but you know.
Yeah, well, we're not going to talk about that. Actually, we are going to talk about it.
Because Crowley, when we saw him in Zone Pro, was kind of an opener, not really not as much of a hype as Warhorse,
Yeah,
but we thought pretty highly of him back then.
Yeah, we did enjoy him. He's a nice big guy. I was very happy about it. What I'm actually checking to see if they actually even left it up, or if it was just one of those that they put up as a live stream and don't have it as a replay. And right now, it doesn't look like they have it as a replay, and that sucks. So if you missed it, Zello Pro actually live streamed the entire show for their Violent Valentines that was today. And it was a really fun show to watch. I mean, here's the deal. If you're going to watch a live stream of an indie show like Zello Pro or Warrior Wrestling or whatever, you have to understand not to expect the same production values that you see from WWE TV, right? For the most part, this was a single camera. It was a hard cam. And it was just, here, watch the wrestling, you know? But it was a ton of fun. I'm just kind of sad that I can't tell people to go to Zello Pro's website and
well, I mean, you could still technically watch it. That link that you had sent earlier.
Does the link still work?
The link still works. It's unlisted, so that's technically the only way you can watch it.
Mm-hmm. So maybe I might just, hit that link in the comments here if I can do it, and then you can hit that as long as they haven't shut it down and everything, because it was a fun show. The main event was Lanie Luck versus Jordan Grace for the Zello Pro Women's Championship, which was a fun match. I personally kind of expected Jordan Grace to lose, and spoiler alert, she does. But I expected her to lose, if only because Jordan Grace had announced a few weeks ago that she's not going to take any bookings starting in May, I think, for the rest of the year, because she's preparing for some bodybuilding competitions, and independent dates were getting in the way of her training for the bodybuilding competitions. And I was like, well, if she's gonna be not doing the independent dates, look right there. There's the link. It wasn't put there by me. It was put there by someone else. I'm gonna go ahead and star that one though, so it stays there.
What do you mean? That's me. I put it up. It doesn't say my name? It says my name.
This is your name.
I was being coy.
It says JLB on it. You can't be
You
that.
are not
was-
not a giant goldfish that survives.
I was being
Very
coy.
cool.
I also was pointing out that because you did it just on Facebook, it's not visible
Like me to
in
do
the
on YouTube
comment
as
section.
well?
No, I'm just here. Give me a second. Chill. Relax.
Chill.
Relax.
Hold on.
I just
Don't
gotta find a
interrupt
way.
your
Can I copy
life
it? Can I
for
copy it?
that.
No, I can't. There, send it in the private chat. This will work
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
Well, not in that chat. In the never mind.
Well, geez, Louise, I did it on my phone.
Here, I can do it. Never mind. Just chill.
I
chill.
could do
Anyways,
it now. I could do it now.
Nope.
I'll do it.
I got. I got to figure it out. I got to
You
figure it.
keep
I got to
posting.
figure it out. I got to figure it out. I got to figure it out. I got to figure it out. Watch. Chill. Anyways, so I expected her to drop it because she's not going to be around to defend it for the rest of the year. So, Laney Luck defending it. And it makes a lot more sense because Laney Luck and GPA now are a couple and the Zello Pro champions. I did have a lot of fun while watching it though. Because I was in the chat and I was chatting in the chat with Sky Blue.
Oh, nice.
Who has wrestled before for Zello Pro and was supposed to wrestle for Zello Pro a couple of months ago, and then the show got postponed, right? And then she wasn't able to come back and do the later version of it. So, because I was like, they need to. Boom. Now it's in there. Now it's in there. So it doesn't matter where you're watching. Now you got the link. So I was like, they need to have her come in and put the belt on her because she wrestles, and I'm not 100% sure if she's signed with AEW full time or if she's just on a part-time content with AEW. But she appears on Dark and on Dynamite, and I really do think it's one of those things that if Tony Khan really wanted to change the game, starting to do a thing where if you're the champion at an independent promotion, you can carry the belt out to your ring on your appearance on, whatever. Because how great would that be? Just from a nice guy Tony Khan standpoint, Sky Blue walking out on AEW Dark for her match against somebody, and she's the Zello Pro Women's Champion. They still present it as Women's Championship, but it still, of course, is not the AEW Women's Champion, so it's, I don't know, it would make a lot of sense to me. But anyways, but I also just want to see that match, so I was chatting back and forth with her there. But anyways, but no, it was a great show all in all. Kylie Ray was supposed to have a match versus Trish Adora, but apparently yesterday she suffered a concussion, Kylie Ray did, and had to pull out of the match. And so they had to find a replacement. And I can't remember her name. Billy Starks, I think, might have been her name. Anyways, she wasn't someone that I was familiar with, but it was still an entertaining match. And, like we mentioned, Big John Crowley defeating Warhorse. There were a bunch of other matches. It was worth watching. And it was able to get over just in time for me to flip over and watch the Super Bowl.
Wow, that's a lot of TV screen time for you, bud. Jeez.
Well, in fairness, I was watching that on my phone because we were keeping my aforementioned 4-year-old happy by having Little Mermaid up on the main screen.
Oh, nice.
But then the Superb Owl came on, and I had to watch that on the big screen.
Have they made a real life version of Little Mermaid yet, or it's the? old
They're
school
in the
animated
process
version?
of. It comes out later this year, I believe.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's filming.
I just asked because you have a 4-year-old, so I don't know. You might be up to date with these things.
I am indeed up to date with it. It is filming as we speak.
Oh, there we go.
Or might be done filming. But it is on its way, one way or another.
Nice.
It got a bit of I don't want to say negative reaction, but reaction because the person playing Ariel, the Little Mermaid. Let's just say some people felt like she wasn't the right ethnicity for this.
What exact ethnicity are people who live under the sea?
That's
Yeah,
my
exactly.
point, right? If you think they're supposed to be whatever color, you're coming from a position of ignorance, because these are fish people.
I mean, have you seen what's the new Disney movie where the guy's a mermaid?
Talking Luca. Yeah.
Luca.
Where he's a sea monster.
Yeah, I'm sorry, he's blue.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
They need to hire somebody with blue skin color.
Yep, can't recast Luca unless you find someone blue.
Rebecca remains Stamos, only person who can play.
And Jennifer
I mean,
Lawrence.
Little Mermaid technically had red hair, though, right? In the cartoons, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while
And
since I watched
she
the
still
Princess
does
movie.
in this version.
Yeah. Okay. See, if she had like, let's say, like blue hair or something, I would maybe be offended by that. I'm like, I don't care about the color of your
I don't
skin.
know
It's a
that I've
fictional
ever been
character.
offended by a movie because they're fake. But I will say, red hair is the identifier.
That's the identify. That's what I mean, though. Yeah.
So, fair enough. Red hair, I understand.
Mm-hmm. So,
I felt you like you
But
rolled your eyes.
people dye their hair all the time.
the name Halle Bailey is the name of the actress playing the Little Mermaid. And I mean, here's the thing with her. People made a big deal about her. I say the phrase ethnicity, but she doesn't exactly look that far off. You know, I mean, it's not like they went extremely dark skinned. And so, but in the end, it's like, whatever. It's a mermaid, you know?
Exactly. If it was like
it's
an
not even-
autobiography of,
Not even a
Uh,
human species.
you know what I mean? Yeah, it's a fictional character. Like,
That unicorn doesn't fart rainbows. Okay.
I'm just angry that they didn't cast an actual mermaid for that role.
Yeah. Because a manatee would be the perfect thing to have acting there.
Just
You
saying.
thought. Yeah,
Just
I put
saying.
that. Yeah.
Merman, Pops. Merman. Anyways. But no, the Zello Pro show was a ton of fun to watch, so I highly recommend you follow that link that's in the chat and go watch it as long as it's still active. And then, you know, join in and say they need to get Sky Blue in there and put the strap on her.
What?
Sky Blue
What to her?
needs to put the strap on her. The strap,
well,
comma,
this
on
got
her.
dirty
This
very
is not
quick.
the type of show we're on.
The
Yeah.
strap,
Not the
comma,
type of show.
on her. Not
No.
the strap on her. The strap, comma, on her.
And this is how we get banned.
We would have to be reported by our listeners, and I don't think that's going to happen because they know what they're in for most times.
But anyways, we're gonna talk on this show about the news, the ups and downs of professional wrestling over this last week. Before we get into it, I always like to take this time to direct everyone's attention to the doobly-doos, where we are part of the Tatnus Co. podcast network.
Yeah.
In the doobly-doos, there's going to be a link to tatnusco.com. After the show, we'd appreciate it if you'd click on that link, head on over to tatnusco.com, check out the other shows on the Tatnus Co. network, learn a little bit about Tatnus. He's kind of an interesting dude there. And then, of course, come back for our next live stream. We go live every Sunday night at 10:30 and Tuesday night at 10:30 Central to talk professional wrestling. Our Tuesday night show is the one where we do fantasy booking, and that's all sorts of fun. So we'd love to see people come for that. We talked a little
What
bit.
the hell, man? You were
Yeah,
just
that was-
on the sexual stuff today.
Fantasy coming.
I'm
People
telling you,
come
I'm saying
for
this.
that.
This says a whole lot more about your mindset than my mindset. That's all
Your
I'm saying.
pauses are horrible today.
This is,
I'm still saying this is all on you.
Sky Blue needs to strap on her.
I didn't even pause on that one. You're the ones
Yes,
who
you
did
did.
that one.
Yeah, go back and listen. No.
I mean, come on.
But again,
You watch one halftime show with Dr. Dre in it, and suddenly you can't help but think, Eminem. Come on,
no, I've just been so distracted by the fact that Veer Mahan's been coming for the last 3 months. So
that poor guy. So anybody
eventually
else?
he's gonna get tired of that. I'm just saying.
It's gonna get sore.
He's gonna be like, hey, "Can I just stop, please?" Anyways, but yes, come on back after going to
I'm sorry, JLB.
But so,
I just want to talk about wrestling.
you're the guys who went off on the
talk
tangent.
SmackDown. So
Let us talk.
WWE has this. I'll let somebody else go first because
What?
I'm indisposed elsewhere.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna say because I'm gonna talk WWE. I want to talk happy things, and so I am gonna talk about Limitless Keith Lee.
Yes.
Because to me that was probably the big, and it wasn't unexpected. I don't know if anyone was really surprised by it. Were you surprised?
No, people went and found that Mia Yim's picture of them on vacation.
Yeah, that's crazy. These detectives,
it was from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was the same sunglasses, the same bikini, the same basic location. Even the reflection in her sunglasses was the same table and the same stuff. And but
it was also the beard too, though.
But even let's get rid of all of that, right?
Pete's beard, obviously.
Yeah, let's get rid of all of that, right? Even if that picture wasn't, before that picture even came out, what was the number one thing when they said that? Oh, we talked about it last week on this very show when they said that there was going to be a special person show up, that the Forbidden Door is still open, and there's going to be a new person show up to wrestle in the against Isaiah Cassidy in the qualifying match for the Face of the Revolution ladder match, right? All of us on here said Keith Lee's probably the number one option for that. Like his 90-day just ended.
Is if they aren't waiting on the 90 days with Jeff Hardy because it's a ladder match.
Yeah.
It was kind of a surprise too, though, for me, just because of the Jay White thing before. So I thought, it's going to be Jay White. Okay.
I was going to kind of get to that because here's the deal: is the Jay White thing was a brilliant swerve put in.
Yeah. So that's.
But in the end, right? Let's take that little swerve put in from 5 minutes earlier in the night out, prior to the Jay White swerve. Who did you think it was going to be?
No, I know Keith Lee, but I'm still saying
prior without that swerve was brilliant, and it was a last minute thing. But I did want to talk about that at one point. But first, I just don't want to talk about Keith Lee because that entrance music was fucking phenomenal. Mikey Ruckus just nailed it on that.
I think it might have been Limitless.
It was not. It was totally new. Mikey Ruckus is very active on.
I mean, it was without limits. There was no limits to that music.
It's fuck. The only thing, and this is just me. Because it starts off with I am limitless, and then it goes into this kind of rocky part, and then it goes as Keith Lee, and then it goes into this rap part. And for me, I would have almost cut out the rock part and just went straight from the I am limitless Keith Lee to the rap part, because I think the rap part fits a little bit better. But that's me being silly. In the end, it does everything I want a theme song to do. It is instantly recognizable. Even before we knew it was Keith Lee, when you hear that I am limitless, we knew it was Keith Lee, right? You didn't have to see the Jumbotron or anything. That was so frequently. It's kind of like Adam Cole's "It's All About the Boom." Soon as you hear that, you knew it was Adam Cole. Regardless, it wasn't his old theme song from WWE. It wasn't anything like that. But it was close enough with that with his catchphrase, it was so instant. I loved the theme song. I loved him walking. He looked happier than he's looked in a couple years now, walking to the ring, Keith Lee did.
Oh, yeah.
And then the absolute perfect debut match for a wrestler like Keith Lee, right?
Where
They
he
could not
just,
have
destroys Isaiah
well,
Cassidy.
and they could not have picked a better opponent. Isaiah Cassidy being the opponent was just chef's kiss perfect for Keith Lee to come out and throw around, because Isaiah Cassidy can jump like you wouldn't believe, can bump like you wouldn't believe, can do those wild jumpy things, and Keith Lee can just catch him, right? Stuff like that. It was such a perfect match. Isaiah Cassidy didn't look bad coming out of it, because he was still the small guy versus the monster, right? It doesn't hurt him by this. Didn't hurt Mark Quinn, that small interference afterwards thing. It was fine. It was a perfect setup match for Keith Lee to
Maybe
come
the
out.
double power bomb hurt him.
Well, hurt as in physically hurt,
I
maybe.
know.
But that's the thing. That's
So
why it was
badass,
so
though.
perfect.
Yeah.
Why it was so very, very perfect, because after the match, they go to attack Keith Lee. Out on the ring, Keith Lee, first Isaiah Cassidy comes and jumps at him. Keith Lee catches him out of the air. Then Mark Quinn tries to go jump, and Keith Lee just drops Isaiah Cassidy and catches Mark Quinn, and then powerbombs Mark Quinn onto Isaiah Cassidy, and then picks him back up and powerbombs him onto the apron, which, WWE has told us multiple times is the hardest part of the ring.
What?
In case you didn't know, that's the hardest part of the ring.
Oh my goodness.
Hardest part.
Sounds painful.
But it was so perfect.
It's harder
but again,
than the steel steps.
Then yeah, well, I mean, we found that out in the main event match,
Oh my god.
which
Fire match.
we will talk about more later once we're done talking about Keith Lee. I gotta be honest, this episode of Dynamite was probably one of the best episodes of Dynamite, start to finish, they've had. Right? There was very little in it that wasn't very well done. From the Jay White debut to
Very
the Keith
well
Lee
done.
debut,
Is that what you said?
very well done. Very. Maybe when Veer Mahan finally shows up in AEW, in WWE, after he'll show up in AEW after he debuts in WWE and then gets cut because the fans haven't gotten behind him, or
I feel
maybe
like
they're going
he's
to call
still
him.
not going to show up.
Ba-
I feel like it's going to be
Bearcat
a hacker
Veer Mahan.
situation.
It'll be Bearcat Veer Mahan soon.
Jeez. It's going to be like a hacker situation where they never did anything with the hacker thing.
And then they're
And
going
that's
to
what
promote
Veer-
some little guy from NXT to be his manager.
Oh,
Maybe Dolph Ziggler.
I saw
well, they certainly
someone.
need to do something with Dolph because
Well, they
He's
sent him
on
down to
NXT.
NXT. Yeah, they sent him down to
Oh,
NXT
Rob
to talk smack there.
not- okay.
I personally am not a fan of it for this reason, and it's kind of a weird one. I got talking to someone online about it. I like Dolph Ziggler. I think he's super talented. I think there was a reason that Dolph Ziggler was the first stop for almost every NXT call up to the main roster, because Dolph Ziggler pulls a good match out of almost anyone, right?
Right.
But if you continue to do this, where you take a main roster star that's a mid-carder star, right, and then send them to NXT, where they come in and they immediately beat up on the main people, and this particular commenter online was saying that they want Dolph Ziggler to win the championship and have an extended run as champion. And I go, the problem is that belittles NXT. When you take a mid-carder from the main roster to come down and then dominate down in NXT.
Does it because he's a he's a two-time WWE champion.
He's still currently a mid-carder. But here's the deal. They did it with Mandy Rose. She's dominating the women's division, and she
she's
was
never been the women's
a
champion.
mid-carder. And if they continue to do that, it hurts it. It hurt it worse than when they sent Charlotte down there and had her dominate for a while, because at least that had the payoff of eventually Charlotte losing,
Correct.
right?
In a triple
I don't
threat.
think you can put. Oh no, what's her name? Toxic Attraction.
Mandy
Went
Rose.
down to
Mandy Rose.
Yes. Mandy Rose. But I don't think you could say that for Mandy Rose, because now I consider Mandy Rose as NXT royalty, not necessarily a mid card from WWE.
This is the best Mandy Rose we've seen, though.
Yeah. It is the best Mandy Rose we've seen. I'm not arguing that. I'm saying that it's about the pattern, right? You can do this once or twice, but you can't do it more, because if you do it more, it establishes a pattern of the best NXT people are not as good as the mid-cardist main roster people.
Well,
that's the eventual thing it says.
Which is probably part of, Vince was.
That's.
I'm going to assume Vince is pretty pissed off in 2019 Survivor Series. I'm going to guess that he was not pleased with the fact that NXT, the developmental brand, just won the Survivor Series. And I don't know if he booked it. I don't know if he was involved in booking it.
I don't think he was really angry at it. I think what he was angry at is that he felt like it didn't go anywhere. That the main roster fans didn't go, wow, these are people I want to see. But the problem is, you can't just do that haphazardly and expect it to have a long-term success out of it. You can't have NXT come up and win Survivor Series and then disappear and then show up 5 months later and expect people to be like, oh, it has to be a long storyline, right?
So proceed to relatively bury them. I mean, you put Ricochet and
it would had to have been NXT wins Survivor Series, and then a couple people from NXT show up and wreak havoc on the main roster. And effectively, you almost have to have it an invasion angle. And I know we talked about it at the time, and we don't want invasion angles because they did an invasion angle one time that was really bad. But you almost have to have it be an invasion angle where NXT comes up to the main roster and says, we run this shit now. This is our house. But Vince couldn't release the main roster enough to let that happen. He couldn't pull back and say, outside of Survivor Series, let's have the NXT people beat the main roster. Oh, nope. We have to keep Charlotte on top. We have to keep Brock on top. We have to keep Roman on top. We have to, and to establish the stars of the future, you have to have them beat the stars of today. That's just the simple fact. And that's one of the things, I'm going to be called an AEW mark as soon as I say this. It's one of the things AEW has done so well is have the stars of the future beat the stars of today to establish themselves as the stars of the future, right? Right? Sammy Guevara beating Cody Rhodes for the TNT title, right? Establishes Sammy Guevara
you're such an AEW
mark. Such an AEW mark. God. Such an AEW mark with my collection of AEW figures on the shelf back there. And the
AEW cheap knockoff of your Pissant podcast.
Ignore the Bootios. Ignore the Bootios. Ignore the Rock book. And the WWE cat. Ignore that. Ignore the Sting action figures down there. No, ignore those. Ignore the Sting. Ignore the Diesel. Ignore the Finn Balor. Ignore all those. Get rid of all of those. Forget about those. I have AEW figures back there. I'm such an AEW mark.
You absolutely are. You're so much more of a mark than this guy. You're a Batman mark.
Oh, my friend painted that.
And Mentos.
Yes. I got a new flavor today.
What flavor?
A new flavor. Oh no, it's just regular mint. The cinnamon was getting annoying, so now
I got you.
Mentos, the fresh maker.
Hashtag still not sponsored. Anyway, go back.
I'm such an AEW mark that I've got all of these.
We'll go back.
WWE cards here. Speaking of, we're going to open another pack tonight just to see if maybe we eventually get one that's decent. Here's the deal: it's this thing that WWE doesn't understand right now, and I don't know why. Is to establish the stars of the future, and I don't care if you want it to be Braun Breaker, right? Braun Breaker's been doing great in NXT 2.0. I got no problem with him, right? If you want Braun Breaker to be the star of the future, he has to beat the stars of today, right? At some point. And the stars of today, Dolph Ziggler's one of them, but he's a mid-card star of today, right? We need him to come up and beat one of the big-name stars of today, right? Seth. Kevin Owens.
Kale.
Yeah, it's one of these big-name stars of today.
Bobby, Big E. Kofi.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be for the title, but have him beat one of them. And that's the way you establish a star of the future. If you want Grayson Waller to look like an absolute badass, have him actually beat AJ Styles.
Has that happened yet? What's happening with that? That's still going on?
I got to be honest, I haven't followed that storyline very well because it bored me. But because it seems so inconsistent, like it happened for a while and then it didn't, and then it did again, and then it didn't. And so
so they're not continuously doing it on NXT because I don't watch NXT, so maybe they have been. And
but anyways, the rest of that AEW show was so great because it built people up. Like I said, almost every segment was exactly what it needed to be. The main event was fucking bonkers.
Yeah. That should have been an unsanctioned match.
It should have been. I was actually going to bring that up. My complaint against the unsanctioned match, the lights out match from a couple weeks ago, was simply that it didn't live up to it being an unsanctioned lights out match. It could have been they could have just called it a Falls Count Anywhere match or a no disqualification match, and it would have been fine. But the fact that they called it the lights out match, and then it just wasn't all that bloody, it wasn't all that bad, was kind of my problem with it. But then this one here, which wasn't a lights out match, it wasn't even technically a no disqualification match, although it kind of was. It was the Texas Street Fight match or whatever they called it, which is really just a last man standing match, really. But it was fucking phenomenal. It was bloody as fuck, and you mentioned that steel stair thing. That bump there made my back hurt. In fact, my back still hurts.
I mean, to be fair,
one of our listeners just called you out. They said Cole's record was the reason for the dark match, so that or lights out or whatever it's called.
You could argue that protecting
I think that's
Cole's record. But here's the deal:
Adam Cole's record, Adam Cole Bebe's record.
The thing is, I don't think Adam Cole needs to say I'm still undefeated. I don't think that needs to be a thing that he brags about because he's got so many other things.
He did this week, though.
Mm-hmm. What? I mean, this week all he did was say I'm still undefeated, but I don't think he needs to do that. I think that is not necessary for his thing because I think
you don't know where they're building that storyline for it though either.
I don't know. I agree. I don't know, but again, yeah, you're gonna take the side of our listener. I get that. I 100% understand you're taking the side of our listener. That being said, I don't think any storyline built around Adam Cole being undefeated is important, especially since we just had storylines with CM Punk being undefeated and MJF being undefeated and fucking Wardlow being undefeated. That storyline has been played out in this current last month and a half. So there are other storylines. There are other storylines that play into it. And in the end, Adam Cole's whole thing is not going to be based. I can guarantee it's not going to be based around record in the long run because the storyline that they're obviously building, very obviously building, is the eventual feud between the Elite and the Bullet Club, right? That has nothing to do with record.
Yeah, but I think there has to be a title contender for that.
He can still be the title contender and he's the number one on the list, not because he's undefeated, because he'd still be number one even if he had 2 losses. Right there. Jay White gonna bring God into AEW. That's what I'm talking about. That's the storyline that they're gonna tell with Adam Cole. Guerrillas of Destiny gonna show up. We're gonna have Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, Jay White. We're gonna have Adam Cole rejoining the Bullet Club, Mr. Bebe himself. Yes. And then we're gonna eventually have Kenny Omega come back. We're gonna have the Young Bucks probably siding with Kenny Omega. We're gonna have the Elite versus the Bullet Club. In fact, at that point, you can have the feud with Hangman Page because he can be conflicted about I was in Bullet Club, but I also was in the Elite. I was more in the Elite than Bullet Club. They're really more my team, but they did betray me. Oh, geez, I'm conflicted. I don't know what to do. That's the storyline you tell with
You know
Adam
where he
Cole.
is? He's Dark Order. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Poor
the
Adam
storyline.
Page is always conflicted.
So that's the storyline. You end up having the Elite versus
There's no reason that dude's a
Bullet
loner.
Club.
All of his fucking groups just fucking fall apart.
Yeah, it'd be
Adam
Elite
Page is
versus
the common
Bullet Club.
denominator.
Elite versus Bullet Club versus Dark Order in a blood and guts match, a 3-way blood and guts match. Fucking fire! Bring that on. Pump that into my veins right now. Right? That's what I want to see. Right now.
That's
With Kingsley destroying all of them.
That's the beauty though of AEW's booking at the moment though too, is that there is still so many ways they can go and still so many other matches they can actually give you that you would still be excited for. We're already 3 years into AEW, so it's hard to compare with WWE, who's 30 years in with their same old storylines and so on. But at the same time, after 3 years, we still are getting different matches and we're still excited by the product, which is great. And we now know as wrestling fans with a bigger promotion like a WWE and an AEW, this can actually be done. We just haven't seen it for the longest time in a main company because the writing at WWE has been the same old for quite a while, quite a long time. So it's refreshing that, oh, but Keith Lee can face this guy. Oh, but he can also do this, but he can also do this. We can get the Bullet Club versus the Elite. Oh, but we can also get the Bullet Club, the Elite, and Dark Order, and so on and so forth. We can do Adam Cole versus Kenny Omega. We can do Jay White versus Kenny Omega. You know what I mean? So there's just so many options and so many variables still within AEW that this kind of already sets you for at least a good year and a half to 2 years of already storytelling, which I find very fascinating. And if they keep hiring more people, we're just going to get other added variables added onto that. So that's one of the things Tony Khan is doing really well. And I sound like an AEW mark, so I'll shut up.
No, I can't disagree with you though. I mean, that piece, I switched to the wrong person. That piece definitely plays into it. Probably the biggest part that I noticed that AEW does really, really right. We just talked about it. It's the faction warfare. WWE gave up on it for a very, very long time. The closest thing we had until the table was probably Nexus. I'm going to guess the Nexus John Cena feud. And they tend to want to stay with just one at a time, just one faction at a time. I love that AEW has the makeshift factions and then the faction, or Britt Baker's instance, that's actually kind of paired up with Adam Cole in what is currently the Elite, but probably more Guerrilla's Destiny at some point. I think that continuing to play out really, really works well. We've got a weird Lance Archer involved with the All American, America's
Top
Greatest
Team.
Team. Top Team, America's Top Team. Just some weird, intercohesion that works really, really well. They also have done a couple things that Smarks has mentioned, and that's mentioning the bad guys don't have to be friends with bad guys, and good guys don't have to be friends with good guys. They just have to do good guy things and bad guy things. And I think that's something AEW is doing really, really well right now. I think in the long run, what AEW is doing is mimicking the best of WCW 1996 through 1998, and without the Goldberg aspect to it. And WWE 1998 circa 2000, can we take it all the way to 2004 Evolution and all that? I think maybe we can. WWE to 2004 for that 6 years from 98 to 2004. Probably even a little longer than that, because DX was around a little longer than that even. So I think that's where...
Well, you had the DX breakup in 2002, though, right? When you had Shawn Michaels come back, Triple H pedigrees him.
Triple H and HBK went back together as the product promo guys. Yeah, you're right.
Your
That
typical,
wasn't as good.
It's your typical. Wasn't as good technically.
Yeah, we went into Evolution, I guess, in 2004. That would have been Orton, Batista, that really good string. And I think that string lasted probably till 2007. So with just really high quality product. Then we had the era of Cena and Punk and Authority era. And that was probably the beginning of the end. When you start playing that Authority game, we've seen it a little bit. Vince did it really well with Stone Cold, but it was one-on-one. It was, this guy's an asshole and this guy's not. Vince Russo did it terrible. I mean, terrible. So Authority has to be done the right way. But as a whole, I'm kind of pumped to see this faction warfare, people turning on each other. We've got really the beginning stages of this, and it could be a lot of fun. So,
sorry, I was distracted
Cole,
for a
Fish,
moment there.
O'Reilly versus Elite, and Jay Wright and Gorillas of Destiny.
A
Three.
That would be good. Three. Hey, here's the deal. I say make it 4-way and have Dark Order in there as well, right?
Yeah, I mean,
and put it in Blood and Guts.
And if you haven't slowly but surely become a John Silver fan over the last 3 years, you're probably not really paying attention to the Dark Order all that much. So,
right.
Sorry, I was distracted a bit because I saw Matt Cardona tweeted out a poll. What should he do with the NWA World's title belt, World's Heavyweight Championship? Should he make it into a spinner, or should he put the purple strap on it? So I had to respond with "Por qué no las dos?" Because he's fucking awesome. Here I'm gonna put up this comment by a person. Jay White is a nobody to the casual fan. He is. I'll agree. If you're a casual fan, you don't know, but he's presented like a big deal, and the casual fan will look and see, oh, this guy's presented like a big deal. He must be a big deal. But in the end, my response simply comes down to this: is you don't know somebody until you know them, right?
correct.
Until John Cena came out and said ruthless aggression, nobody knew who John Cena was, and he became the face of the company, right? Until Rocky Maivia came out and gave the first Rock speech, nobody knew who Rocky Maivia
or
was.
Eyebrow raising.
Or the first eyebrow raising, or said, smell what the Rock is cooking. Until Mick Foley first showed up in the Cactus Jack, nobody knew who he was, right? You don't know someone until you know someone. And in the end, yeah, the casual
and
fan...
even then, sometimes you don't know them until they've changed into who they're going to be.
Yeah.
There was a ringmaster.
Fan... Yeah, the casual fan didn't know who Stone Cold Steve Austin was until Stone Cold Steve Austin showed up, right? We might have known.
He beat Jake the Snake Roberts
and said yeah.
Austin 316 says,
exactly.
I just whooped your ass.
Mm-hmm. I mean, here's the deal. Stunning Steve Austin languished around on WCW for years. Literally years. And nobody knew who the fuck he was. He shows up in WWE. Nobody knows who the fuck he is. He's a nobody.
I would even argue that he showed up in ECW. And once we saw his ECW promos, but not everyone was watching ECW either. So
I'll go to someone else that's another name. The casual wrestling fan did not know who Chris Jericho was before he debuted on WWF at the time, right? Right. Because when you say casual wrestling fan, that means someone who just watches occasionally. And to know who Jericho was, you basically had to be a person who either watched hardcore and watched ECW. You're not a casual wrestling fan if you're going out of your way to watch ECW. Or watched WCW, because at the time, WCW wasn't, and he wasn't presented like a star. Right?
No,
in fact, that's the whole reason he left, is because he felt like he should be presented like a star.
He wanted to get the crap kicked out of him by Goldberg.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I want is Goldberg to beat the crap out of me too.
Yeah. He wanted to be presented like somebody, and they didn't, and so he left, and he eventually got presented like a star. Right? You don't know,
Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit.
One could argue that Eddie Guerrero was a bigger star in WWE.
Yeah.
I personally believe he was still pretty big in WCW. But
the thing in
not as big.
WCW is everyone always in WCW saw him as just a cruiserweight star, and he comes to WWE and becomes a big star. But in the end, that's everyone, right? We talk right now, Kenny Omega, who you and I would all say, all of us on this here would say is one of the best wrestlers in the world, if not the best wrestler in the world, right? You can argue back and forth on that, but
I would.
But the casual
me being a casual fan, though, because look, I consider a casual fan as a person who watches just mainstream wrestling. So either WWE, AEW, or maybe Impact. Maybe Impact kind of thing. So no ROH, no NJPW, none of that. So casual mainstream, what I can get on my cable TV provider is what I watch. So that's what I would consider as a casual fan.
I would say if you watch wrestling on the regular, you're more than a casual fan. If you're on a podcast, you're more than a casual fan.
But for instance,
casual fan is someone who just flips around TV, and that's
I don't
fine.
know who Jay White is, right? I know of him because of New Japan
and again,
so on, but I've never seen a match of Jay White. But I don't think he's a nobody based off what I've heard and so on. But I am excited to see
So
him.
both arguments are being made there.
Yeah, my point is, again, you don't know who you know until you know them, right? And so, yes, Jay White is a nobody right now to someone who doesn't watch wrestling hardcore. I'm not disagreeing with someone there. This Midnight
we're
Murder.
both agreeing
here.
with each other. We're just
I'm not disagreeing with him there, but what I'm saying is it's all about presentation. You're a nobody until you're brought in. He got brought into AEW for this and presented like a big fucking deal. Right, and maybe the Midnight Murder's next comment is Jay White ain't going to be any of those guys. Come on, he's not an MJF.
MJF wasn't MJF until
MJF wasn't MJF until nobody. Literally, a casual wrestling fan had no idea who MJF was until he got brought in and presented like a big. Casual wrestling fan had no idea who Orange Cassidy was until he got brought in and presented as a big deal. Darby Allin got brought in, presented as a big deal. Sammy Guevara 3 years ago was an indie guy that nobody knew, and now he's one of the pillars of the company. That's a big deal. Everyone is a nobody until they're a somebody, right? And this guy, maybe he's right. Maybe Jay White's not going to be one of those guys. I can't predict the future.
He can't be MJF though.
He's not going to be.
MJF is a bit, but he can't be. No one. Adam Cole is not MJF. Mm-hmm. Okay,
but
because MJF is more about his promo and so on, and he's a good wrestler. Adam Cole is not MJF in a promo, but MJF is not Adam Cole in the ring.
Yeah,
so,
but again, and the thing
MJF
is
a bit much.
he's using MJF just as an example of someone who was a nobody and is now a big thing. But I'll point out, literally everyone, the people you just said, Adam Cole was a nobody until he got brought in and presented as a somebody, right? In this case,
so he had the championship for 2 years.
He got brought into NXT and presented as a somebody. Keith Lee was a nobody until he was a somebody. And even then, he was a nobody for 2 years in WWE until he got brought in and presented as a somebody on AEW. The simple fact of all of this is, I'm not saying you're wrong. Jay White might not be. I think he will be. I personally believe that given the right presentation, Jay White could be a fucking star.
How is his promo work?
His promo work's decent, but his whole thing is he's a wrecking ball. He comes in, he destroys people.
Is he comparable to like an Adam Cole? Is he comparable to an Adam Cole? Like, how is his wrestling style?
I think he's a fucking star. I think he's great. Look up some of this stuff.
Compare him to someone though?
I mean, he's more a brawler style. I would say a more brawler Cody Rhodes, right?
Okay, that's interesting.
But in the end, it's he's not a technical wrestler. He's a Midnight Murder. His thing, casual fan doesn't care about in-ring work. They care about stars. They're interested in larger-than-life stars. I think Jay White can be the larger-than-life star if presented right. right? That's why I'm saying I none of this did I bring up wrestling on this. I said it's all about presentation. They brought him in and presented him like a big fucking deal. They brought him in, had him beat up someone outside, and then left. And then they had him come back on Rampage and beat up someone as well. So far, none of this has been about wrestling skill. It's been about presentation. And so far, they're presenting him like a big star.
And we will find out with him versus Trent, I believe, which is going to be on Dynamite next week. No?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So, and that's it. We'll see his skill. I think he could be presented as a big star, and he could be. But I'm not a fortune teller.
Story is they're going to tell with him, and
yeah.
You're absolutely right. The casual fan doesn't care about. They care about the in-ring so long as it fits the story. Yeah. You want that story to work. And if the story works along with the in-ring, example, MJF is a really great example of that. The story is MJF's an asshole who will cheat to win and does it really, really well. Oh, by the way, he did it twice with CM Punk. Yeah, that's cool. CM Punk gave MJF his first loss by giving him a DQ loss. First loss of this year. Not first loss. He's lost before, but
I mean, in the end, there's a really good example of someone who's a huge star, but was a nobody until he became a star, and that's CM Punk. Like, hardcore wrestling fans knew him from his Ring of Honor run.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hardcore wrestling fans, but the casual fans, when he shows up in,
and I don't think
WWE,
he was larger than life until, I mean, he'd had the title a couple times before he cut the promo. Once he cut the pipe bomb, that's when he became larger than life.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, that's what it comes down to. Almost everyone is eventually presentation is the thing. And so Jay White, if they fuck up and drop the presentation and botch it entirely, yeah, he's gonna fizzle and we're not gonna be talking about him in 6 months. There's every bit that chance. I can't say that won't happen, right? So far, AEW has not shown the tendency to drop the ball that bad. But they could. I can't say they won't, right? But so far, the presentation that they have given for Jay White has presented him as a star. And if they continue to present him as a star and continue to show him as this. That being said, I'm also going to say one thing about it with Jay White that's an important thing. We don't know how long he's signed a contract for. This could be a short-term deal with him going back to Japan in 2 months or whatever. This could be just to bring in, have a little bit of a fun for a while, and then go, right?
I would say, yeah, I want to go to one other point that this listener had given us. I would say there's another piece to that in that I think that there's been already some stars that we thought were going to be bigger draws than they are. One really, really good example is Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose probably will not be a title holder again for at least another year and a half, 2 years. And Nyla Rose was, early on in AEW was the draw for me and in the women's division. In the men's division, we thought that there would be other draws that would be a lot bigger than they are. Brian Cage is a really good example. I think all of us, including Tony Khan, thought Brian Cage was going to be a huge draw, hence him winning, carrying the other 19 people up the ladder to get the chip in his debut. And we went, wow, he's really great. And he's kind of fallen off a little bit. Not that he's not good. He's just fallen off a hair.
In fact, we could say Brian Cage is the example of AEW dropping the ball on presentation, right? Yeah. He should have been presented as a fucking beast who comes in and destroys people all the time, and instead they put him in these weird little feuds and eventually this weird FTW feud, and had him lose it, and that's them dropping the ball. I'll 100% say, and that's the difference. If Brian Cage had been presented as a fucking star from day one, he'd be someone moving the needle, but he wasn't presented as a star, not from day one, and not definitely
Recently.
not now. You know,
The other one, I would say, gosh, somebody who's fizzled a little bit lately that I feel like will go back up is Darby. We don't get as much of Darby as we would typically want. He had his super huge run, and since he lost the TNT title, we haven't seen much of Darby. Miro was in that category. I feel like Miro and Darby are both in the. We're in a little lull right now. We're going to be rolling back up.
I don't think Darby dropped that far. He's in this thing right now with Andrade, and he's going to be back in the TNT title picture again.
Yeah,
but in the end, I mean, this guy here, we will have to agree to disagree. I think that again, it's all about presentation, and if Jay White's presented as a fucking star, he's shown that he can draw in New Japan. He's shown that he's shown that everywhere that he's on. About presentation, he's presented in New Japan. He's presented as a big deal in the Indies. He's presented as a big deal in his appearances on Impact Wrestling, right? Yeah. So for this, what happened with Cage? He just kind of fucking disappeared. He lost matches for the FTW title to Ricky Starks through cheating and stuff, and then just disappeared. We haven't seen him on TV in 6 months.
The other piece that,
He's just
that
been
we
gone.
mentioned that if you listen to this podcast weekly, what I would say 3-4 weeks ago, we talked about the most likely to defect from AEW to WWE, and I believe on our hot list for any of us, at least the two who are on the screen. I don't know about JLB for sure, but the hot list for us two is both. Brian Cage, I think he's probably one of the first most likely to go to WWE.
Yep. I wouldn't be
because he has
show
exactly that look.
Yeah, I literally would not be
just
surprised to
doesn't
see
have
Brian
that
Cage show up in
charisma.
WWE.
He just doesn't have.
I think
that
he does
charisma.
if given the right way. He's got to be presented as a monster, and they didn't present.
They'll
him
present
as a
him
monster,
exactly the way they presented Goldberg. Exactly the way
Yep.
they presented Goldberg.
Yeah, that's fair.
Probably with a
But-
manager.
Or Braun.
But here's what it
Or
comes
Braun.
down to. Talking about a business standpoint and drawing, right? I'm going to point out that Pro Wrestling Tees, which you can argue is not for casual fans or whatever, but the number one selling wrestler of 2021 last year was Danhausen, who at that point had not appeared on any of the majors. He was in Ring of Honor, and that's it. So casual wrestling fans wouldn't know Danhausen, and he sells more t-shirts than anyone else, right? The next one is El Generico, who doesn't even wrestle anymore. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Number 3 is New Jack, and probably only got there because of post-death sales, right? Mick Foley, Macho Man, Rowdy Roddy Piper were all outsold by Danhausen. Steve Austin's Pro Wrestling Tees store was outsold by Danhausen. So, I mean, in the end, it really comes down to it's all about presentation. That's the reason they brought Danhausen in. Danhausen is going to bring in money. Simply that.
Danhausen's merch sales are incredible. So,
But that's the deal. In the end, this Jay White thing, it's all about presentation. It really is. And you can drop the ball in presentation and he falls away, or you can present him good. And some of it's going to be on how long. If he's only here for a few months, then he's going to present for a while and disappear. But if he's here for if they sign him to a longer term deal, right, and they bring him in for some major warfare stuff, he could be presented as an absolute beast and draw. Because in the end, people don't draw until they do, right? They just don't. Period. Right? And so you don't have to be the heavyweight champion to draw. And drawing's not what it used to be, right? The simple fact is, it used to be that the whole goal was to sell tickets to the house shows. That's where they made money. But that's not how wrestling companies make money anymore. Wrestling companies make money by their television deals. That's how they make their money. And on a television deal, people tune in for the drama. People tune in for the action, right? And as long as he can provide drama and action, he's here. He's good. And right now he is, because there's the drama of this whole thing. Oh, he's the leader of Bullet Club. He's invading from another company. All of this stuff. If that could flop, who knows? But
I think this Forbidden Door thing's working out really, really well, though. I love getting a GCW pay-per-view out of nowhere and going, yeah, we're gonna watch this because of Moxley being on it, and the extra exposure. I think it gains exposure for the casual fan.
Yeah.
I think it gains more exposure for
also
the interactive fan.
It is worth noting that everyone starts as a casual fan, and it's someone pushes them to become more than just a casual fan. Like for me, I was a casual fan, and then I fell in love with watching Sting wrestle. And then I started to see, well, how can I watch more Sting? And so I started to look up like tape libraries and find people who had access to the old Jim Crockett tapes and so on and so forth. And that's how you become a not casual fan anymore, is by some. So there's going to be someone out there who sees Jay White, a casual fan, is like, I don't know who this guy is, and hears them talk about it and say, Jay White's fucking the leader of Bullet Club, and they're gonna watch him do. He's gonna hit the Blade Runner on some people, and they're gonna be like, that's fucking awesome. Now I want to see more of him, and they're gonna look. They're gonna go to the internet and they're gonna start looking for Jay White matches. It's gonna happen to some people, right? Mm-hmm.
Maybe
that's the
guy.
Yeah, maybe that guy there. I mean, here's the deal. Yes, I'm not a casual fan, but I'd never heard of Orange Cassidy before he showed up in the Casino Over Budget Battle Royal. And then I saw him
as number 22. Like, it's fucking great.
And I saw him and I was like, fuck, I'm going to go find me some videos of him. And I went on a 8-day fucking bender of Orange Cassidy videos. Orange Cassidy versus Kylie Ray.
We were sending videos back and forth for like 5 days, man.
You go from being a casual fan to being a hardcore fan by seeing a wrestler that you fucking love. And not everybody loves the same things. And so, Midnight Murder had a thing where he mentioned that he didn't think Nick Khan ever cared for the heavyweights. And it's not, I don't think it's entirely true. That he doesn't care about him. Yeah, excuse me, Tony Khan. Nick Khan, yeah, but
I mean, Nick Khan definitely doesn't. He's just a businessman.
Yeah.
He doesn't care for any wrestlers.
Yeah, I don't think it's true that Tony Khan doesn't care for the heavyweights. I think Tony Khan understands that he's got to fucking walk a line with them, because when your champion is Hangman Adam Page, you have to walk this line. You can't have Brock Lesnar show up and still have Hangman Adam Page be the champion, because it's hard to make that leap until you establish Hangman Adam Page as someone who could conceivably beat Brock Lesnar. It's the same reason, like I said before, I don't want Braun Strowman, Titan, or whatever he goes by now, Adam Scherr. I don't want him showing up in AEW, because he would make all of the AEW people look small. Right, and there's a whole thing that they have to do. But you can plainly see the way that he presented Keith Lee this last week, the way that he is currently building up Wardlow, the way that he's currently building up
Cage.
Yeah, Nick Cage, Brian Cage,
originally, yeah.
The way he's building up Powerhouse Hobbs. He's building up these big guys, but he understands that he has to build them up in a way that feels organic, and does not immediately make people think and go, well, why isn't that guy just throwing around the champion all the time? Right? He's got to walk this line. But I'll point out that this Face of the Revolution ladder match, these qualifying matches that are coming up for it right now, the first one was Isaiah Cassidy being thrown around by a super heavyweight Keith Lee, right? This coming week on Dynamite, they've announced that the next match for it is going to be fucking Wardlow throwing around Platinum Max Caster. right?
I can't wait for his rap.
It's gonna be
You love
super
his raps
entertaining.
every
The
time.
rap's gonna be fun coming out. And in the end, very likely. I can't rule anything out. This is professional wrestling, but very likely we're gonna have
Is that him?
the person who advances, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
is
I
what we-
think Wardlow's actually going to lose.
To Max Caster?
There's a
Yeah,
chance. That's
well,
why I say I can't.
Anthony Bowens.
MJF.
made
I think-
Oh, MJF.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I get what you're
That-
saying.
There's a chance that it
Wardlow
could
doesn't
be
need
due
to be
to an
there.
MJF Screwhausen. But here's the deal: is I think if you're gonna have it be Keith Lee in the finals, having another big guy like Wardlow, big deal.
Ooh, that way they can eliminate each other. That
I'm just
works.
checking to make sure. I think I might have dropped out for a bit.
Yeah, you're back.
But so here's the deal. is I'm not saying they have to have it be like fucking all big guys in the final ladder match, right? But if you're gonna have Keith Lee in the final ladder match, having another big guy like a Wardlow or a Powerhouse Hobbs, someone else in that ladder match to help offset the big guy Keith Lee makes a lot of sense. I don't necessarily think that MJF costing Wardlow the match this early in the thing is the right move. I think if you're gonna have MJF be the reason Wardlow loses, you have him be the reason Wardlow loses the ladder match. Right. And so you have him win this and qualify for the ladder match, and then lose because of Wardlow in the actual ladder match.
Sorry, I thought you were done talking. I was going to give JLB a chance to talk.
Go ahead, Jody. We're going to take a
I was
break
like,
from this
oh,
heated
how
discussion
you
after
doing?
this.
All right. Well, let's talk something negative because I want to fucking get on
Okay.
this.
Really quickly before we talk negative, let's do our pack opening.
pack
I
opening.
have 7 packs, so 1 through 7.
I'm going to give it to you. You pick right there.
Number 4.
Four horsemen. This is the
Pack
four
number
horsemen.
4.
Put it on him. This is the perfect time to put it
I
on him.
know. I'm going to go to it. Just what did you give the 4? Fuck off, man. Production value sucks. Whoever the producer is for this show is just
I know. He's just a real. He's a real
changes
regular
cameras
old.
like all willy nilly and bullshit.
Like, who does he think he is?
First card. Angel Garza, still with the company. We're here now.
Lost
Ooh,
Corpus
got a
Todos.
win this week over a former WWE champion.
Yeah.
Fuck
We're this far into it, and we've still only had one fully no longer with the company, currently
Karrion Kross.
active star, Karrion Kross. We're about to have 2 though. We got a holo card for Lince Dorado,
Oh Jesus!
going
kind
for
of
a
a nice
plancha
card, though.
on
The hologram
Shinsuke.
of Lince Dorado. What a fucking.
We've got our superstar Miz card, the 2016
Hey.
Miz.
That is
Right.
awesome.
Our first
MJF
Allen and
is a better
Ginter.
Miz.
Big sexy.
Oh, nice.
Speaking of when we were casual fans, what made us the real fan? That's
Yeah.
the dude that made me a real fan.
Yeah. He was a
Yep.
nobody until you saw him and he became a somebody. Right.
When he beat Bob Backlund for the title, I was like, ah, yes. How lame am I?
Nobody's
Man, I
ready
am-
for Oscar.
But I am ready for Oscar to come back. What
Oh,
the
ready
hell
for her
is
to be
going
back.
on?
Yeah, I agree.
I miss her so much.
Whoa. Love
Apollo Cruz.
is a mini splendid.
Is he
dude.
still the prince there of
He's-
Nigeria?
Not in
he's-
that one.
He
In
still
that one,
isn't
he's-
in this, but this is prior to that. This is when he was.
Oh
just-
no, I just mean in general what he's doing.
But yeah,
now.
no, he's still doing
yeah.
that. Although he hasn't been seen as much recently. And then the-
they had him and Aziz were on Superstars 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Superstars. Yeah. And then the
Well,
final
watch
one
the
from
recap.
this pack.
Ooh, the new Alexa Bliss.
Yep, a
Nice.
Fiend Alexa Bliss. If my thing will focus.
They recapped her Elimination Chamber Twisted Bliss this week on WWE's social media.
Yeah, they're really pushing. I mean, she's gonna be back soon. I heard they filmed
Saudi Arabia back.
Not Saudi Arabia back. No, I mean I'm talking soon, as in within the next month or so.
Before
they apparently filmed. I want to say it was like 12 of the vignettes, but they're playing about 2 of them a week, which means 6 weeks. So we've still got about a month before.
Oh,
she's back.
Jesus.
Ish. They could play more than just 2. You
She's
know.
a beanie.
But so I'll put up this last comment from Midnight Murder. I want to say this here, Midnight Murder. We're not trying to attack you. We're not coming after you on any of this stuff here.
I don't know.
This
It
is
just sound like it.
spirited discussion, right? Says he considers himself a casual fan. MJF, someone stands out from the pack, but not Orange Cassidy. He doesn't think he connects with the casual viewer. They say, "Who the fuck is this goose?" I would argue that statistically speaking,
What?
and ratings wise speaking, that the casual fan connects more with Orange Cassidy than MJF. The ratings show that Orange Cassidy has a greater impact, a greater positive impact on the ratings than
MJF is the person people love to hate, and they need to develop that overall hatred. He's really good at making you hate him. Orange Cassidy is the person that people identify with. Like, I just don't want to.
And just love to love. You know what I mean?
they-
The best
they're
phrase,
like,
that whole thing.
I'm going to go to work and do
Danhausen's
the
part of
bare
that,
minimum, and that's what Orange Cassidy's character
but
is.
here's the deal: is the one to really talk about on these is really Darby Allin. Darby Allin's the perfect example of a person who nobody knew who the fuck he was prior to him coming on. Nobody knew who he was. Nobody.
He's almost
And he shows up
Eastern
and he's got
Canadian
this
there, eh?
look. He's got this look that people fucking loved, right off the bat. Like I didn't care what he wrestled like after I saw his look. First time I saw him, I was like, he's someone I'm gonna pay attention to, right? And then I saw him wrestle, and I was like, yeah, he can fucking go too, right?
Then you saw a coffin drop, and you went, "Owie!"
Well, the funny thing is, before I saw a regular coffin drop,
Ironically, so did Bray Wyatt.
yeah. Before I saw the regular coffin drop, I saw that one he did at the Hammerstein Ballroom, where he
With a chair.
duct taped a chair to his back and did it off the balcony. And I saw that, and I was like, "Fuck this! I'm in. I'm 100% in on Darby Allin." But that's the deal: is Darby Allin is one that was a nobody until he became a somebody. Hangman Page is another example of a nobody who became a somebody. And you could argue to the casual fan, they flip it around and they see AEW on, and they see Hangman Page come out and drink beers and talk cowboy shit and then put on this banger of a match that he brings people in because he's presented well, right? He's presented in a way that attracts the casual fans. In the same way that, I mean, in many ways, Hangman Page, there are differences, but in many ways, he's a Stone Cold presentation. Let's be honest here. He's the everyday man, drinks some beers, all of this stuff. I'm not arguing against that, but the casual fans loved it with Stone Cold, and they seem to love it with
he's
Hangman
like
Page.
your blue collar worker almost.
Blue collar worker, and so the casual fans, like you said, they care a little bit less about in-ring skill, and I'm going to use that from a technical skill standpoint. A perfect example is Dean Malenko in the 90s. Dean Malenko was probably the most technically skilled wrestler in the business in the 90s, right? Casual fans didn't give a crap. But he was the Iceman, Dean Malenko. He came out and he put on phenomenal matches, but he didn't connect with the casual fans, right? And part of it was presentation. It's hard to connect with the casual fans when your presentation is you're a walking loaf of Wonder Bread, right?
Also, side note,
Dean
thank you
Malenko-
to Midnight Murder for promoting our merch, where we have a shirt that says,
Who the
"Who the
fuck
fuck
is
is this?"
Who the fuck is this?
this?
Which is
That's a good.
and very
We'll bring up
much-
Braun Breaker. Nobody
Who the
knew who
fuck
the
is
fuck
this?
Braun Breaker was until he's presented like a badass, right? Casual fans didn't know who he was. Like, if you were good enough to kind of get through the hints that they put on it, or you're a hardcore fan who watched the dirt sheets and knew he was a Rick Steiner, right? you knew. But he came out and he was a nobody, and they presented him like a fucking badass, and now people believe him to be a badass, and that's fine. Karrion Kross was presented as a badass in NXT, and then he comes up to the main roster where nobody knows who he is, and they fucking job him out in 30 seconds to Jeff Hardy, and then act surprised when people treat him like a nobody, right? Karrion Kross has every skill to be a fucking draw on any of the ones, whether he goes to AEW or whether he shows up in Impact or whether he just continues to do shit like Warrior Wrestling and Defy and MLW, you know. If he's presented as a star, he'll be a thing. That being said, I think the dirt sheets love to get on this whole casual fan thing. Casual fans don't really matter in professional wrestling. I mean that from this standpoint. Casual fans don't move the needle as a whole. Casual fans turning into non-casual fans move the needle, right? When a casual fan decides to go on a podcast and start talking, they stop being a casual fan, they become an invested fan. That's the ones that people want.
I'm an invested fan.
You're an invested fan, right?
Well, and quite frankly, once you're an invested fan, sometimes
it's hard sometimes to see what you see.
You will sit
you know?
through bad stuff in hopes that there will be good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting through bad stuff. I haven't watched Raw or SmackDown. I saw highlights, and I'm very proud of myself.
But you did. Raw and SmackDown have been not the best, great. For
the entire
3 years.
3 years of this podcast, we've been talking about how bad Raw has been, and you sat through it for the better part of those 3 years.
Back when we did show reviews, thank God we don't do those on Raw and SmackDown anymore.
Oh Jesus! Imagine.
But I just have to throw out big ups to Big JC65 for who the fuck is this?
Who the fuck is
Big
this?
ups to you, man. Head on over to rawnorderwbu.myspreadshop.com to get your Who the Fuck Is This shirt.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is this?
But yeah, that was a
Okay.
great debate. Thank
Anyways.
you, Midnight Run, was it? Midnight Run?
Yep. DA Fabe wanted to talk about something that pissed him off, so.
Well, now I'm going to my spread shop to put it up on the screen.
Oh, no, you talk about your shit. I'll get it up. Don't worry about it.
Okay, you'll get it up. There it is again. More sexual stuff.
That's right.
You're out of control.
Out of control.
So I'm gonna go. Yeah,
I'm calling HR.
So I'll be with you in a little bit after you file your complaint with HR. I'm also HR. I'm producer and HR. Anyway, I will bring up. So WWE does a really, really good job with their socials. They bring things like the Alexa Bliss match from so many years ago, or the Twisted Bliss from the top of a cell in Hell, not in Hell in a Cell.
Elimination Chamber.
Elimination Chamber. Those really great things, they bring them back so that you kind of get that excitement. They also, on Snapchat, do a top 10 for all of their shows. This week, I frequently watch all of the top 10s, even though I will skip significant portions of the show to fast forward to the end because I'm just not into the match, whatever it may be, when I'm watching them. SmackDown, man. There were 3 matches and 2 segments featured in their top 10. Literally, they had the 3 matches that were on the show and 2 of the segments, and that's all they had. So they had to top 10 those. They top 10'd with 4 of the top 10 spots were from the New Day / Angel Garza and his cousin, whatever his name is, where they had Kofi, a recent, less than 2 years, WWE champion, lose to a roll-up from not Angel Garza, but his cousin.
Right.
Yeah.
They were dominant the whole fucking match. Those are two recent WWE champions.
And you just had a fire match on day one with the Usos, who are
Yes.
like the WWE champions on SmackDown. I don't know where they're going. They dropped the New Day moniker too, at least for the last 2 weeks, which scares the bejeebies out of me. I don't know what's going on there. Looks like they don't want to put them as the New Day anymore, and maybe looks like they want to build Lost Authority. I forgot their name.
But
The tag team.
But your story is literally telling people, hey, our product is so crap, we have to take 4 out of 10 of the top 10 spots from one match. By the way, the top one of those is going to be where we schmoz off 2 recent WWE champions. By the way, also the only 2 ever 100% black WWE champions.
Who the fuck is this?
Great
Doing
shirt.
these things on these top 10s. Who the fuck is this?
I'm pretty sure Vince doesn't have Snapchat. I'm gonna guess he doesn't snap.
I mean, so he knows someone who knows someone who knows.
Look at that. Those sizes up to 5X.
Jesus.
Here's if you're going to SmackDown,
Casey, unfortunately, they don't have your size yet, bud.
if you're going to a SmackDown, you can do SmackDown Blue. Who the fuck is this?
That's a
Right?
bit weird to read, though.
You're
wonder
going
how
to a
good that would
Raw.
look.
Who the fuck is this?
Ooh,
right?
that's nice.
Oh, heading down to NXT. Who the fuck is this?
That's the perfect shirt. NXT. Who the fuck is this?
Going to a Zello Pro show. Who the fuck is this? I don't
And then
know
have
what
them
color-
sign it
I
right
don't know
below.
what color
on,
Warrior
I
Wrestling
am
uses,
Warhorse.
but
I
there's-
am this. I am that.
Who the fuck is this? Nah, if you're going to a Zello Pro show,
And you're gonna
or
get signed.
or a Warrior Wrestling show, or any of those, you come here and you get this shirt. Right? You get the autograph collector. We hop in here, and you take this shirt and you get it in whatever size you want. Say 5XL. You're a big dude, big old dude, right? Big old 5XL, right? And you're going to Zello Pro. You get it in green. Boom, right? We're going to NXT with a meet and greet. Get it in yellow.
WWE is coming here March 6th. I really probably should get one to.
What? The second largest city in Canada they're going to?
Hey. Well, they're not even coming like the LaBelle Center or anything. It's like Place Belle in Laval.
Well, because they can't sell out the LaBelle Center.
Yes.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's
Correct. They can no longer sell out. They can't sell out Omaha.
Yeah, straight up. But it's only a live show though, so even then they still can't sell. They can't even sell out even more. But I mean, if you have Paul Heyman raging at fans on your live show, then that might be worth it too, So kudos for Paul Heyman to do that. You guys saw that clip?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. At least he adds a little excitement to the live shows. Obviously it was all the work, but
I will say
it was cool.
the thing that makes that's hurting SmackDown. SmackDown was the strongest WWE product until 2 weeks ago when we heard boom, boom, ba-da, and now we're literally ruining the best guy in SmackDown in Roman, and we have to have a feud with.
I acknowledge you as my next victim. Ugh.
I don't know why he's so mad. I acknowledged him as my next victim. That's so fucking stupid.
When wasn't that this week? It was this
Yes,
SmackDown, no?
that was this week.
Ugh.
2 weeks ago is when he came out and challenged him.
No, wasn't that this week too?
No, this week they had the vignettes against each other.
Oh, okay. Fair. Ugh.
This week we had I'm gonna Goldberg, and I don't know why he's so mad. I acknowledged him as my next victim. Oh my God! Don't ever cut a promo again. Remember in '98 when you didn't talk and then somebody said who's next?
Yeah.
You could stop at who's next and you shouldn't have even gone there.
That's it. That's it.
So I don't know if either of you had seen the spoilers for the taping for this next SmackDown. I didn't see all of them. I saw a few things, right, for this next one. So I'm gonna give
taped the next one.
Well, because they go to Saudi Arabia the next day.
Yeah.
So all those people are probably flying when SmackDown would normally be taping or be airing, right? To go to
Which
Saudi
is
Arabia.
genius, because last time they were in Saudi, they had to.
They
They
left
literally
the
just
Thursday
Thursday they
back
had to
arrived.
fly
here.
back to be able to do
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ugh.
Left a crew of people here, just to cover in case they could, which they didn't.
Which ended up being a great SmackDown, because then that's when you had the NXT stars coming in.
Yeah, but
That's
with this
legit.
they pre-recorded, and one of the things that like I said, I didn't see the full results. I chose not to. So before I say anything here,
So you choose
I'm
to
gonna-
spoil some.
I'm going to
result.
give a huge spoiler warning.
You should put
here.
a little note like spoiler alert, spoiler alert. No, okay. I thought it was.
Well, I will give our other producer the chance to quickly do spoiler warning. He's a faster typist than me.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Boom! Spoiler
Oh,
alert.
Jesus, that is not. Okay, but that's good.
It's big enough. People can see it. We'll take it down when I'm done
He's
saying
capitalizing it.
spoiler.
Hold on.
Right.
No, he's not. Okay.
Doesn't matter. It's up.
It's fine.
Everything. Because here's the deal. The big thing is they announced another match for the Elimination Chamber thing, and it's going to be a tag match with Ronda Rousey
Nice.
and Naomi versus Charlotte and Sonya Deville. Right. I don't know if they actually announced that on actual SmackDown this week, but it's gonna happen. They had a contract signing for it.
They had it on Twitter though.
The one that was on Twitter was leaked. It was not
Oh,
the actual one. That's the thing that's the spoiler. If you watched it on Twitter, it looks bad, and they're gonna have to do some very creative editing to make it look okay. So it ends the way all fucking contract signings end, which is it breaks down into a fight, right? When have we ever had a contract signing not do that, right?
What?
But it starts out, Charlotte goes to hit Ronda Rousey. Ronda blocks it and then slams her head in the table. But I'm telling you, go find it and watch it. Ronda misses by like a foot and a half, and Charlotte's head comes nowhere near the table. It's bad. And then Naomi attacks Sonya Deville, and then they flip the table and all of this stuff. But it looks really bad. It looks and so
it's a fan cam, I imagine, right?
yeah, the fan cam is what you see. Now, what we'll eventually see, you could see the person on, with the camera, and they did this with, bam, to the table. So it'll probably look a lot better with the quick pan fucking WWE thing to it. But it looks so bad. Like, we've talked before about how at live events, things don't look quite as good as they do on TV. This thing looked really bad. Looked really, really fucking bad. And
Well, it's fan cam, so let's put it on screen.
Oh, snap.
if you want to find it, I just don't have it up.
We'll wait.
Well, I tried SmackDown spoilers. I didn't get anything. I'll try SmackDown. This might be a while for the dun, dun, dun.
Dead air. This moment of silence brought to you by the library.
Found it.
Let me see if I can find it where I can put it up, because you can't put it up. Problem is, if we put it up on screen, people paying attention to the Wrestling Inc. has it.
Oh. Looks like JLB's got our back. Send it to us in the messenger.
Yeah, problem is I don't get it in the messenger in a way that I can put it up on screen either, so.
I do.
Okay. Then you do it. Jesus Christ. What is up with this website? It must have given me the fucking I went to Wrestling Inc. on my computer, and it gave me the mobile version of it. So the text is like 3 inches tall. Really fucking funny. One job, Wrestling Inc.
Yeah, one job. You only have one job in this world.
I'm getting there. Just
Jesus.
Put it up.
I know slots who are faster.
Seriously,
Sloths.
producer.
Sloths.
hey, I'm sorry that I live in redneckery land. Okay. Escape. I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna share screen. I'm gonna do this one. Nope. This one. Nope.
Well,
this one.
I mean, you have to.
Oh yeah, I have to do the share
Wait,
first.
do the share screen first.
One job.
Woo-wee!
Ooh, someone's tired.
Yes, I am.
Happy Super Bowl Sunday, everyone, where you are tired because you ate too much.
Share.
Oh, hurry up.
And we're gonna come back
Maybe
here.
enlarge it.
There we go. And I will go here and play.
And enlarge.
That is really bad. All right, I'll stop it. I'll stop sharing.
But I think my favorite part of that is watching the cameraman do the little flick down.
Yeah.
Oh, that obviously hit really hard.
Anyways, okay, we can take the spoiler down because I don't even want to talk about that anymore. I just thought it was funny. I just thought it was really funny. Like, if you're gonna pre-tape, do better. That's all I have to say. But anyway,
Well, I mean, what can they do? They're probably traveling on Wednesday.
You know, the funny part is it'll probably be pretty good on video.
Yeah, no. It
well,
will
no,
be,
the
for
thing is, here's the thing: if you're pre-taping, you fucking re-record it.
There's fans there still.
There's fans, though. Yeah. You
The
can't
fans
re-record it.
already know shit is fake, right? So you re-record.
Okay.
Wait,
out.
what?
Yeah. How dare you?
You fucking
ruin our
re-record
dreams.
it is not the first time WWE has re-recorded like matches, like actual matches at shows because they didn't like the way the match finished, so they just did the match again with a better finish to it. It has happened at actual shows, right?
But Ronda ain't got time for that.
Right? So you know what you do?
Confident.
You know what you do instead? You fucking re-record it backstage. You have it be a backstage contract signing.
I mean, it's going to look good on camera. Who knows? When you see stuff live, you notice a whole bunch of shit looks fake, though. So that fan cam doesn't do anything justice.
You
because-
notice shit looks fake.
Yeah,
I
mean,
do. That's what I said.
I distinctly remember live seeing Shane miss Roman's face by like 15 inches when he was kicking him.
Well,
That's
I mean,
it.
in fairness, you see that on TV too, so that's nothing new there.
Yeah.
So, the other thing I wanted to talk about on this, and this is going to be something Midnight Murder is not going to like us talking about a nobody like Matt Cardona, but I want to fucking give Matt Cardona all sorts of props for winning the 10 pounds of gold. I also want to give him all sorts of props for wearing ring gear inspired by the gear Christian wore when he won the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship.
And taking the picture of him pointing.
Yep, almost exactly the same picture, just using a different finger. But like Matt Cardona is in fucking God mode trolling right now.
Oh my god. That dude is
I love it. And, you know, yeah, put it on a purple strap and make it a spinner. Do everything to the NWA.
Do both. Yeah.
and then make fun of us for our fat hands when we flip you off in public.
Yep.
Like,
Fucking do it.
send a picture. So
I-
that when we talk to your wife at a Zello Pro show, she goes, "Oh my god, was that you?" No.
Nope, my hands are just fat like them. But,
My hands are also fat.
the thing is, here's what I will say. Who would have ever fucking thought that not signing a full-time contract with a major company like AEW or Ring of Honor
Was his best move.
would have been the best move for Matt fucking Cardona when he got fired, right? But it has been. In 100, he has done more as a free agent going around to whatever promotion he wants to than he ever would have done with a full-time AEW contract, right? It was the better move for him. EC3 has bet on himself, and it's been the better move for him. So I...
Yeah,
Hands
I would
down,
say
big
everybody
ups to
who's
him.
bet on themselves has done a really good move. I'm excited to see Rockstar Spud.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen it yet. I'm kind of...
He was fired again?
Yeah, he was fired in the second round. And then he tweeted out a really cool video hinting at Rockstar Spud coming back. And I want Rockstar. I've been dying for Rockstar Spud ever since he got fired the first time. I've said this before, and I will say it again. Rockstar Spud was better than anything Drake Maverick brought to the table, because as a character, and really, I like pre-bow tie Rockstar Spud. Like when he was in Impact and he moved to the bow tie and he was Dixie Carter's right-hand man, sort of a thing. He was all right, but I way prefer when he was on the British Indies and he came out to Living on a Prayer. And he got so much heat. He'd come out and he'd pose, and then he'd demand quiet, and he'd pose until the part that he wanted to came on. And if the crowd thing, he'd have him rewind it and he'd pose again. He got just fucking nuclear heat. He was so good at it. And he can fucking go, and WWE never allowed him to show.
Well, they did a little bit in the Cruiserweight Classic,
but never truly allowed him to show what he could bring. I said it before and I'll say it again. Rockstar Spud versus EC3 was one of the best matches in Impact Wrestling history. I'm not saying it's the absolute best. They had some really bangers, but it was one of the best. And if you haven't watched it,
Joker Angle was probably the best in Impact history.
It's fucking lights out good. Maybe someday we'll do a Twitch watch along of that, so that JLB can finally actually watch that match after 2 years of me telling him to.
Can I tell you? I listened to what I wanted.
Halfway there.
But so, other things that happened on AEW, we had Serena Deeb's 5-minute rookie challenge, the first one of those, and that's a fun gimmick to give to her, with her just beating up the rookies, just fucking stretching them like fucking Stu Hart, and I'm down for that.
What a fun podcast name, Stretching Like Stu.
Stretching like Stu Hart.
Jonathan Gresham, that's yours.
Yeah. The Inner Circle team meeting, teasing heavily the breakup of the Inner Circle, which I think it's time.
Yeah.
I think it's time for the Inner Circle. I don't think Inner Circle is helping anybody anymore. 2 years ago, Inner Circle was elevating.
Hey, man, that's all Jake Hager's got. Stop it.
Yeah, well, no, fucking, I'd be fine if Jake Hager didn't.
Yes,
He's one contract that I would not cry if it didn't get renewed. I don't think he brings much to the AEW table, and I'm fine with it, right? But fucking Inner Circle has stopped serving Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara's outgrown the Inner Circle. His storyline and gimmick is way better with him being on his own again, right?
That's it.
And then Santana and Ortiz. Frankly, I've been saying since day one that I want LAX again, right?
Right.
And isn't Conan there?
Conan's not officially there because he still runs his Mexican promotion down there, but he does have a working relationship with AEW. So he could show up.
Come and manage it.
Come in and manage it. But here's the deal is, they don't need him to come and manage it because Eddie Kingston was also part of LAX in Impact Wrestling.
Okay.
And so Eddie Kingston can be the manager as long as Conan, because Conan owns the rights to LAX. So as long as Conan gives them permission, then LAX could be in AEW, I believe. So that's what I'm hoping for, because Santana and Ortiz.
Well, and I think he'd do it if he could get some name recognition to show up at his shows every now and then. Which he would get from them.
Yeah, for sure.
So, anybody else excited for Elimination Chamber?
No,
No.
not at all.
No, me either.
I mean, I am excited to see what happens in the chamber match. I am also just very shocked that we have 3 women matches in Saudi Arabia. We get that's almost more matches than we kind of get in the States on a regular show. So I'm really shockingly excited that a lot of showcasing of women is going to be in Saudi Arabia. We saw that there actually is posters that are being put up in Saudi Arabia with Lita versus Becky. So that's kind of a first to happen there as well. So pretty exciting stuff in that regard. But in terms of the actual match, I only really care about the women's elimination chamber match and then the men's elimination chamber match.
You know, the funny part is with all the stuff that one of our listeners on YouTube brought up tonight, Midnight Murder brought up on YouTube. I have to kind of mark out here a little bit and say, hey, there is a tier of performer in WWE that is still leaps and bounds above most other performers. Becky Lynch is in that category. I have no investment whatsoever in the Lita Becky Lynch match whatsoever until this week when Becky said, without Lita, there would be no Becky Lynch. But now that there's a Becky Lynch, there can be no Lita. I was like, motherfucker, you can cut some fucking promos.
She really could. Yo.
Oh my God. Her and Roman and Seth and KO and
Miz. No.
Miz. Those people can cut fucking promos. Hell, Kofi when he's allowed to talk and the ultimate underdog type thing, cuts a fucking promo, man. Hell, Big E with the hype man stuff. He can't cut a promo to their category, but in AEW he'd be probably number 3 probably 5 in their promo abilities. I mean, they've got some people that just fucking cut them, man. They are fantastic. That's all that's worth watching is the 4 fucking great promos a week, and everything else is garbage. But my God, those are good.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, if you get WWE's promos mixed with AEW's wrestling and you put them in one show, you would have the ultimate best of wrestling, a best show possibly done. Because AEW's promos are good, but WWE really has some great wrestlers too, and they know how to market it.
WWE continues to influence the world.
The world.
Yeah, it is kind of messed up that they literally copy pasted for all the WWE talent to write that.
Yes,
Oh my
fucking everyone.
Like
Just
everyone.
WWE continues
And it was like
to
all at
influence
the same time too.
and
It
it's the
wasn't
exact same wording, right? Almost always in all caps.
Wow, the world.
WWE continues to influence the world.
When was
Okay,
Nia
well,
Jax on
that was
Renee's?
the shitty part.
When was Nia Jax on Renee's podcast? That was a few weeks ago, or was that like this week?
I can check.
She was talking about a bunch of stuff about.
By the way, with the picture that Nia Jax released this week, if she needs a Valentine's Day, I'm down.
I very specifically chose to not listen to the Nia Jax one. So looks like February 1st was when she was on. So
yeah, I mean, like, and just her whole snitching thing. Oh, if I could tell you how many people who aren't vaxxed and have cards, like, first of all, even if this was true, and who knows if it's true or not, but like, what are you doing? Like, What are you trying to prove here? You have people who still work in this company who I guess you claim are friends, but because you're bitter and sour and got fired because you're narcissistic and think everyone should follow what your rules are.
Yeah,
The
in fairness,
narcissist
I will point out that
included.
she specifically said athletes, not wrestlers. So she's implying that it's not just in wrestling, but in other sports, that there are lots of
And
athletes.
there has been
There have been people caught, yeah.
yes,
There have been people
mean-
caught.
I mean, several of last year's Super Bowl champions were caught in the offseason having said that they were vaxxed and weren't.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And there was a sting of a bunch of
Physician?
people who were selling
Yeah.
actual vaccine cards with fraudulent information on them. And I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see at some point a rash of big name athletes getting charged with receiving forged goods. But in the end,
Okay, I thought she meant WWE. Like she's saying,
I think
okay.
she implied everyone that she knows also.
Okay.
But here's the deal: is in the end, fucking no one ever accused her of being smart, right?
Right.
This is every day on TikTok or Twitter or Facebook, I see people getting absolutely owned because they just fucking admit to being shitty people online. Like just admit to it, right? And that's not even just with the anti-vaxxer or all of that stuff. That's whatever, right? But
People
like
making stupid comments.
people making stupid
About
racist
anything.
comments just
Yeah.
online because they feel like they are invincible. And you know, if you believe that you're in the right, then you don't believe that your stupid comment is stupid. And she believes that her side is in the right on this, and so by saying this, it makes her the hero. It makes her the good guy in this situation. But so
And living in America, everybody has a right to be an idiot.
they also have the right to have the consequences for being an idiot.
Yeah,
Exactly.
But let's move on. The one thing I wanted to talk about, we mentioned it a bit earlier, but that fucking Texas death match. I want to talk about that
yes.
because it was so good.
How did he not have a wound on his back from those stairs?
I don't. How did he walk after
Because it
those
was in
stairs?
the small of his back. The point of the stairs was in the small of his back.
The thing is, he bounced off them, and his head looked like it hit the ring post, bouncing off it. How he got up after that is
These are athletes at a level you cannot really argue about. I mean,
Right.
but
the other
just,
piece is, if anybody ever holds me up like this, face forward, with my arms out and my elbows aren't, I'm doing something. No razor's edges for me, or inverted razor's edges, or whatever.
But I mean, in the end, that match was so well choreographed. I'm going to use that phrase here because there were spots that were planned in advance. I'm not saying that they went out and rehearsed it. This is what we do. Most wrestlers don't go
Well, maybe the referee
spot
one.
by spot, but there were parts of it that were very definitely planned and coordinated and choreographed in a way that worked perfectly. Dan Lambert coming out to take down that ring post, right? The
Didn't even notice that. I was like, why is there no
you didn't
top
notice
rope?
it, but they made a very big fucking deal about it. So you must have been fucking in La La Land
Yeah, I was
when that
probably
was
on my
happening.
phone or
He was
something. Yeah.
literally on screen for like 5 minutes.
Wow.
Unscrewing it. But they were like, what's Dan Lambert doing? And he comes out and he pulls a screwdriver out from underneath, and then he takes the wrapping off of the turnbuckle thing, and then he sticks it in there and he starts doing this, and they're like,
But
what
what
is
was
he
the
doing?
point of that?
He's taking that off.
You
And then
can't
Taz
do
says
a-
he's
can't
probably
do
doing it so he can't do the buckshot lariat.
Okay, right.
Because the last time that Lance Archer faced off with Hangman Page was prior to him becoming champion. But that's how Hangman Page beat Lance Archer, was the buckshot lariat. That's how he beats
Right,
most
yep,
people,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
So Dan Lambert came out to take it off, and they made a big deal of it, but it was so perfectly done. Because then, as a fan at home, my disbelief was suspended enough for me to be like, how the fuck is he gonna win if he can't hit the buckshot lariat? Now I'm invested. How are we going to get around this? Is he gonna do a buckshot lariat on like the ramp? Is there gonna be like some other place? Is he gonna go from in the ring to outside of the ring where he can like do it from the second rope to the outside? I don't fucking know what's going on. He's gonna lose. He can't lose. Hangman Page can't lose, can he? Can he? Can he lose? Is this for the title? Is it for the title? Oh my goodness, it is for the title. Is Lance Archer going to be the champion? This is all the thoughts that went through my head during this while I'm watching Hangman Page get.
I have a headache with all the thoughts going through your head.
Like I'm watching him getting murdered on screen, right? As Lance Archer jabs him in the head with a fork.
Right.
And then licks the fork. Ah.
So gross.
Disgusting. Yeah. I was like, and this is how AIDS happens. Like,
but all of this, I'm just watching. But like every part of that was
No, I know.
so well done. I'm gonna
some
have
kind
to.
of messed up thing, not necessarily AIDS.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm gonna send you a link, JLB, to the actual pathogen ways that AIDS works.
I mean,
we're not.
If he had AIDS, but it just doesn't happen.
No, it's
Random.
Anyways,
Well, I mean, you could get something by swallowing blood, right? And the blood's infected with something. You can get something. Maybe AIDS wasn't the right
swallowing is really hard to get most of these things from swallowing. I'm just gonna say that. Okay. Most of the time,
remark from Smarks.
Yeah. Most of the time, it has to be blood to blood. Now, if he'd have taken that same fork and been like, yeah, like this, then we'd be like, oh, geez, he could get hepatitis from that or something.
Right.
But anyways, no, there's so many like spots of this that were perfectly choreographed to be like, this is setting something up. And how is this? And like I say, my entire brain was going the entire time going, how is Hangman going to get out of this? I just don't know. I like, this is a magic trick and I don't know how they're doing it right now. And it's so perfectly well done. And then for him to what did he do? He had the barbed wire wrapped around his arm.
Mm-hmm.
And he hit him with the forearm, and then he took the barbed wire off and he threw it on the ground. And the referee was like, oh, I better get that out of the ring, and leans down to do it, and boom, he did the buckshot
was
lariat
not expecting that at
off
all.
the back of the referee, and then to the outside through a table on the outside. I'm like, all the little synapses in my brain were going, wow.
I'm so happy I'm not in your head. Oh.
You probably always were. I mean, just be honest.
What are you doing, Fabe?
Such a fucking great match. Right. I've got to do a search here to see if Meltzer, and yeah, people are gonna say Meltzer always gives AEW matches
yeah, but it's Wednesday.
Stars.
But
I guess sometimes because it was last Wednesday, sometimes he might have already got them out, but I don't know. I'm just gonna check here to see because here's the thing.
I was just gonna say it was just a perfect way to end. That was Dynamite, right? Perfect way to end Dynamite.
Yeah.
And like watching it, it got over, and like my brain was like, "Is Dynamite over? It can't be over, right? Is it? What time is it? Oh, it is time for Dynamite to be over. Oh,
was there? Do you think there's a story being told with Lance Archer being mad at Jake Roberts?
Yeah, I think they're building up to Jake Roberts no longer being part of the Lance Archer storyline, and I think they're doing it for a couple reasons. I think they feel like Lance Archer doesn't need him anymore, and maybe would be better served with joining the America's Top Team faction. Which, frankly, I think it would help if there was more than just 2 wrestlers in the America's Top Team faction.
Yeah.
Right. And so adding Lance Archer to it would make a lot of sense to me. I guess Paige Van Sant is going to be wrestling some now, so that puts 3 people in it, I guess. So,
when's that happening? It's Dynamite that's happening? No, we don't even know anything with that. We just know that she came in to hit her.
Yeah, I don't know if they've announced the official time for that match yet.
Okay. I mean, that should be fun. I mean, we haven't seen Rhodes wrestle in a hot minute, so I don't remember if she was good or not. I think she was pretty green, but
she was
down to see an MMA fighter rumble in there. So.
The only way I'm going to be really excited for that is if Paige Van Zandt just comes out and fucking murks Brandy. And this isn't anything against Brandy. Brandy's just not good enough of a wrestler to be featured at the level that fucking she's been put at. You know what I mean?
Right.
She needs to be used to put
I
someone
said
over
this
right
before and I was right. Maybe she's been working on it. Maybe she's gotten better.
It's possible.
You said it before, and you were, excuse me. You said you were right. You said you were right on that. You said you were right. Confirm to me that you said you were right, because I want to remind people that it was about Eva Marie. You said
right,
Eva Marie
forward.
had probably gotten better.
Dan Lambert may have a black belt, but she's a black bitch. Okay, that's all you need to know. She's gonna kick ass. That promo is still in my freaking head. I don't know if it's because it's just catchy or if it was just
the thing
really
is, the
silly
only
and
good
stupid.
that this promo does is hopefully eventually lead to Cody turning heel and the full thing on that. So, but no, Dynamite was fucking phenomenal. That match was great. Then we go to Rampage, and Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus versus the Ass Boys.
Yep.
God bless Danhausen for that.
Hashtag
That is
Ass
so
Boys. They will
fantastic.
always be Ass Boys to me. Hashtag Ass Boys. You had Roppongi Vice, Beretta and Rocky Romero versus the Young Bucks. That ended up featuring afterwards Switchblade Jay White, that we mentioned before, coming out and hitting Trent Beretta with the Switchblade, the Blade Runner. That's what he calls it. Which, yes, is going to lead to eventually Beretta versus Jay White, I'm sure.
On Dynamite.
I think, is it going to be on Dynamite?
I feel
wasn't
like
sure
I've
if they
heard a
announced
match
it.
made, yeah.
I'll do some looking here in a second, but you had Britt Baker versus Robin Renegade, just a jobber, local
Squash
talent,
match. Yep.
Squash match. You had Hook come out and just beat up fucking one of the QT Marshall's people.
I thought it was the streamers.
No, that was Serpentico a week ago. This week,
okay.
it was this guy named Blake Lee, apparently. He is just one of QT Marshall's top students. They could
His match with Serpentico was fantastic.
Yeah, with Serpentico, it was great because Serpentico hit the streamers and was like, yeah, streamers, and then fucking get murked.
The ref is like all fucking caught up in him. He's like, oh my god, I can't get out of it. And Hook's just destroying.
I feel like Hook is going to get into that Brian Cage scenario because I feel like they're not going to necessarily know what to do with him, where he's just going to keep squashing people and then no one's going to care anymore. He's over. He's big right now. But I feel like they're going to try to protect him so much and not give him anything meaningful for a very long time. And I'm not counting him versus QT Marshall meaningful, just so you know. And I don't know. I'm scared because they're...
I don't think we have any worry about Hook being in that. The only worry that I have with Hook, to be perfectly honest, is as good as he is, he has a limit just based on his size, right? Eventually, you're going to have to put him against someone who's bigger than him.
Andrade. We're not talking Brian Cage. We're not talking Wardlow.
Right.
We're talking Andrade.
Yeah. Andrade,
Would tower over him.
Someone with more experience than him, and then you're going to have something to worry about. But on the
and who So Grit is Jungle Boy's thing. Even though he's small, he constantly fights back. No, we talked about him earlier. Little dude, skateboarder.
Darby Allin.
Darby Allin is
Little dude
grit
skateboarder.
and willingness to sacrifice his body. Hooks is
Right.
I'm a badass who beats the fuck out of people. Well, the problem is there's lots of guys who are badasses who beat the fuck out of people. I.e., Hook goes up against Malachi Black, and that doesn't play anymore because it's a bigger badass who beats the fuck out of people.
Yeah, like his cocky gimmick won't work. His cocky, snobbish gimmick won't.
There has to be another dimension that's built where you're correct there, JLB. But there's time to build it where Smarks is correct.
Yeah, and that's the deal. Is in the end, what's going to happen first is he's going to have a match that isn't just a squash, that he has to win based on other skill.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Because he can't just be the one-trick pony who just comes out and beats people up. He's got to be
continue to just be Taz's kid who kicks ass.
Yeah, but he's got to show more than just I come in and I beat people up. He's got to show that he can overcome a more talented.
He's got to get the promo skills. I hope to God this dude can talk.
Here's the deal: is when you're Taz's son, you don't need to have promo skills.
But he has the look, though.
Yeah, but you don't. When you're Taz's son, you don't need the promo skills because you have Taz, right? You fucking have Taz do all the talking. That's all you need. Now, what that means is Taz needs to come
Taz
off
is not
the.
Intimidating, though. I don't know.
I think
not
Taz
intimidating anymore.
I think Taz is having a 3-man faction that includes his son. He needs to come off of announcing.
Yeah, he needs to come off announcing and just be fucking the leader of that. But here's you say Taz is not intimidating. You did not live through ECW, man.
No. He was then.
Fucking.
But I mean, now he's just like for me, he's a has-been guy trying to regain his value, kind of thing. Like I don't find him intimidating now. Then he was awesome.
And the thing is, that gets fixed really easy. You have Taz come out, and you have him actually murk someone. I've used the phrase murk way too many times. You have him fucking murderize someone. You have him just come out.
You have him make fucking Sting pass out. That's what you do.
Yeah, someone
You have
Sting.
him look Darby Allin, and he takes Sting and just throws him right into the Taz mission.
And the thing is,
Sting goes to sleep.
Taz is still in good enough shape that he could throw someone around. Right, he literally could still suplex the fuck.
Absolutely.
I mean, because he was originally the human suplex machine. That was his gimmick. Is he fucking threw people around? He threw people around more like Brock Lesnar. Yeah, before Brock Lesnar. So the matches so far announced for AEW this week are.
There was a Jay Lethal match too, which I'm really excited about.
Not announced yet for Dynamite.
There's no good Jay Lethal matches.
You shut your face.
There's a good Jay Lethal match a week ago, but it wasn't this week. For this coming week, TNT title, Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin.
Down.
Face of the Revolution ladder qualifying match. We mentioned Wardlow versus Max Caster. Jericho and Hager versus Santana and Ortiz. The no DQ match. Mercedes Martinez versus Thunder Rosa. Right, in the no DQ match. And then Bryan Danielson versus Lee Moriarty, who I point out was one of the people that Bryan Danielson wants to mentor. And they built that up a little bit on Rampage, where Lee Moriarty's like,
I'll get more violent.
Well, but the big thing is, like, I've already got Matt Sydal. And Bryan Danielson was like, listen, Matt Sydal, you're good. You're a good guy, and I like you, and you've done good things with him and everything, but you don't have what he needs to learn. He needs to learn how to be violent. And that's true. Matt Sydal has never been the guy that you said, holy shit, that guy will murder people, right?
Yeah. He's been the guy. Shit. He just did 17 shooting star presses in one match.
Yeah.
In one shooting star press.
Yeah, that dude.
Yeah, literally all those backflips.
I'm pretty sure
one shooting star press.
One shooting star press.
And so
can do it.
I get it there. But so, anyways, AEW was great this week. WWE was It wasn't horrible, but again,
It was bad.
I
SmackDown was bad, dude.
I
think
guess
Goldberg
I didn't
ruined
watch
it a lot.
SmackDown. Still, Sling TV and all that shit.
I mean, now you should be paying Sling TV more to not give you SmackDown. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I should send them a check, being like, "Thank you
Send
for
them a
not
check.
having."
Thank you for not having SmackDown.
It was
You've done me
bad.
wonders.
Raw wasn't.
So Goldberg's off my screen. It will stay bad. Like, because here's the deal: they pulled Seth off after the feud was over. They pulled Kevin Owens over with Seth. So literally, all there is on SmackDown to really enjoy is those Roman promos, and they're against Goldberg now. Fuck me, man. It's that bad.
Oh.
It's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
It's gonna cause me to drink.
Wait, is KO still in the elimination chamber?
No, he lost.
No, he lost, but then he won a match, and then he asked them if he can go in, and they said no. But then I think
That'll
he's
probably
like, I'm
change
going to
tomorrow
prove
night.
to you guys. I hope so. I hope KO's in the match. Because you got to
Then I
start
hope he
building that
fucking
Seth
murders
Rollins
Austin
thing.
Theory, because I'm over that shit too.
Oh my God, yeah.
Dude
please.
was
this thing is so
Johnny
creepy,
Gargano's
man.
bitch, and now
So
suddenly he's
creepy.
a fucking push.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Ugh.
Well, and that's the thing. Like fucking, it's been one of my biggest
He
problems.
was first Seth Rollins' bitch, first of all. Okay? He was Seth Rollins' bitch first. Then he goes down to NXT, is Gargano's bitch. And now he's Vince's bitch. He's just the craziest lapdog I've ever seen. Like, this is crazy. What do you do?
Does he
He's a
have
great
no
wresler.
character? Like,
Great
I
wrestler.
feel like him stealing Shane, not Shane, Fandango's partner. Tyler Breeze's
Breeze.
gimmick. Now, it's not completely stealing Tyler Breeze's gimmick because he takes the selfie with the wrestler. But I think that was enough by itself. And if it wasn't, then Vince isn't going to create a character for him.
well, and
Gargano
that's-
couldn't carry him.
yeah. The thing is, I'll say it this way: the difference between character is Tyler Breeze's character was someone who's so caught up in his own looks, whereas Austin Theory's character is effectively a fame monster. It has nothing to do with him looking good. It has to do with him becoming
Getting
more
them
famous,
likes
getting the
and
likes and
whatever.
all this stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's always been one of my biggest problems WWE has had ever since NXT, is not continuing the NXT storyline to the main, right? Because like, what the fuck is Indy Hartwell doing now with Gargano God, right? Fucking nothing. She was presented as a big deal. This whole Dexter Lumis storyline, all of this stuff, and then Gargano leaves, and then Austin Theory fucks up to the main roster, and Indy Hartwell's like, I
guess I'm still
technically
Mrs.
married
Loomis.
to Dexter Lumis, yeah. So, and then what the fuck has Dexter Lumis been doing?
Right.
Fucking, they have a star in Dexter Lumis, and he's just nowhere to be seen, right? And so, I mean, Dexter Lumis, literally with that character, could have been called up to the main roster and
Been that character.
been still that character, the creepy guy, doesn't say
It's
a
their
word.
New Bray Wyatt without
Yeah.
saying anything.
But anyways,
Yeah, and God bless he still hasn't spoken. Thank fucking God.
Right. He
Anyways.
said I do though, no? Didn't he say I do? When they got married, he actually spoke I do? No? That wasn't a thing?
I don't remember.
I don't remember. Yeah.
Maybe he did, but
But yeah, I
Still.
mean, aside from that, nothing much. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and what's up with Cameron Grimes? What is he doing now? Nothing? Nothing?
Cameron
LA Knight?
Grabs.
Nothing?
That feud's over. He's feuding with somebody else.
Okay.
One of those that fits a t-shirt. Who the fuck is this?
who the fuck is this? Yeah, it
One
might
of those,
be.
who the fuck is this?
It's not Grayson Waller. It's who's that other guy? He's got the bald head and fucking doesn't talk much. Ow. Anyways, who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is anyone? But
Who the fuck is this? Gunther!
Fucking Gunther. Fuck you, Gunther. I need to change because I've got the "Damn You Gunther" T-shirt. I need to
Damon Kemp.
I need to update it to have a "Fuck You, Gunther" version.
Or just the middle finger, you Gunther. Oh, Jesus. So that was wrestling, boys. Was there anything else crazy in terms of... We still don't have a Hall of Fame thing. There's been no Hall of Fame announcements yet. That's pretty bizarre. I guess we still have a month and a half away, though.
Yeah.
So I guess there's still time.
I mean, you know...
This may be a year where they only induct one, and it's The Undertaker. They could do a whole Hall of Fame ceremony.
Oh,
right?
they'll have more. They'll have more. I mean, in
have
fairness...
done one.
Yeah, we already know that they had an offer for someone to go in the Hall of Fame, and he turned it down, because he's like, you guys fucking fired me, and
they're gonna put Bad Bunny in the Hall of Fame. Mark my words.
So you know, we already know
Celebrity Wing. Yeah.
they weren't planning on this being a one-person Hall of Fame this year. It may turn into it, but I bet you they've got other people in the wings. But again, we've got a month before it. They got plenty of time to do that.
When's Mania? April?
Yeah, April.
First weekend in April.
Yep. So they've got literally over a month and a half to deal with it. But so I will say maybe the only thing that we could call it a down thing in AEW this week. Some people really liked it. For me, I'm like, meh on it. But Matt Hardy abandoned Isaiah Cassidy in the middle of the match. And here's the deal. They've been teasing this whole thing with Matt Hardy getting more and more frustrated with Private Party for not winning. And now that Matt Hardy is no longer the sole sponsor in the Hardy family office, right. That Andrade is now the money behind it. There's even more. But the thing that I want to point out, it's an AEW being heavy-handed about a storyline that some people are excited about, and I'm not. Not personally myself, for a couple reasons.
Hardy Boys is Private Party?
But just the Hardy Boys, just in general, because the whole thing was when he abandoned by going through the crowd,
right? And
they had to have, I believe it was Excalibur on commentary say, oh no, it was Tony Schiavone who said it. It was Tony Schiavone said Matt Hardy exhibiting some erratic behavior today.
Oh, really?
I'm going to point out erratic behavior is what they described it when Jeff Hardy left the ring and walked out through the crowd.
Oh, snap. Okay.
They said Jeff Hardy exhibiting erratic behavior, and then he left in the middle of his match, and then he got let go. And so that's being really heavy-handed about hinting that Jeff Hardy, whose 90-day no-compete is not up until May. Might be coming.
It doesn't work.
Why May?
I don't know exactly why, but
it's March.
Nope. 90 days would be more than March.
No, December he was let go.
All I know is I saw a headline that Matt Hardy said probably injury time, because they can tack on time for injury, things like that. I bet. Okay. But that Matt Hardy confirmed that Jeff Hardy's no compete was up in May. Now maybe I'm remembering wrong, but I'm 90% certain.
March.
Yeah, but they wouldn't. March, man. They wouldn't be doing all of this for May. Like, that's so far away. That's still 2 months down the line.
From SB Nation. In a lot of ways, Jeff Hardy fits the bill for that surprise person that's supposed to be coming. But his non-compete won't expire until next month.
Oh, nope. Yeah, I was wrong. It's March 10th is what they say. But still, that's still over a month away. Over a month away. From when they did this, I should say. Yeah. When they did this. Because it was on the 9th when they did this. It's over a month away.
Well, it depends on how you define a month, but okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 29 days. In February, it's more than a month, but the rest of the year, it's less.
That's it. I mean, it's not a leap year.
Well, this
year,
is February,
You gotta take that
so
into account.
this
Yeah,
is February.
You know,
February.
It is February.
Yeah,
February.
That's better.
Yep, February.
I'm proud.
I don't care
don't
what
care.
you say.
It's Feb,
It's
guys.
still
It's Feb.
February.
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 But on that note, we'll probably wrap things up. We've been going about 2 hours and 15 minutes or so, and so we will be back Tuesday, for the Fantasy Booking Institute. So yeah, make sure to come back for that. But yeah, we'll close the book
Tune
here.
into that.
You don't say tune into that because the
Tune
to
into that.
you, it's tune into that.
No, I'm saying you're tuning in because it's on a Tuesday. All right. There's methods to my.
Oh, his is a pun. It's not pronunciation. It's a pun.
Yeah.
Pun.
Okay. See.
Pun always intended. Also in the
Spend
merch
the
store
fucking podcast.
at myspreadshirt.com.rawandorderwwe.com.
You're not even going to show the WWE Championship at the Super Bowl? I sent you this freaking picture, and no one ends up showing it up.
Again, you sent it in a way I don't have access. I can't. Here's the deal. We've told you this before. My fucking computer is shit, right? I cannot bring up Facebook at the same time as I'm live streaming. Otherwise, my live stream freezes the fuck up. So when you send me some shit in the Facebook chat, it comes on my phone, and I go, fuck, oh, that's cool. But yeah, no, it's one of the members of the Rams had a replica of the WWE Championship, and so he had it over his shoulder while he was up there getting the Lombardi Trophy. Whoop, whoop-de frickin' do. Right?
Whoa, calm down. That's pretty cool for WWE. Nick Khan was really happy.
It's not even the first time it's happened. It happens at almost every Super Bowl.
That the WWE Championship?
Yeah.
Is there?
Oh, yeah, you see it?
I know it's happened when they give.
Because almost every Super Bowl. Because here's the deal: wrestling is really popular with football players, and guess what? Football players have lots of disposable income, and you can hop on this website that WWEshop.com, and anyone with enough money can buy one of those. That he just bought that and brought it to the thing and said, "Hey, I'm gonna carry."
Oh, okay. I thought WWE.
WWE title getting lots of eyeballs. That's why all these people have their eyes closed.
Yeah, all their eyes closed.
No eyeballs there.
That wasn't a WWE thing. That was fucking that guy just chose to bring the championship belt to the thing. And the thing is, again, it's not even the first time it's happened. Right?
Calm down.
I bet you I can find on the last 5 Super Bowls at least 4 times it's happened.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
okay,
I bet you money Aaron Rodgers did it at least once on one of his Super Bowl wins. You're 100% correct there. Aaron Rodgers, I guarantee you did it at least one of his times. Because his whole thing was put the belt on me. Put the belt on me. I'm the champion. Right. Put the belt
Aaron
on
Rodgers.
me. That became the discount double check. The discount double check, right? Anyways, so that's the deal. It wasn't newsworthy to me. That's the other thing. But anyway,
I was just saying as
harsh.
The Rams win.
You're not worthy.
Well, here's the deal: is we were talking earlier about casual fans. When it came to the Super Bowl, we had 3 casual fans here, right?
Whoa.
None of us.
You guys are more fans than I am.
Whoa.
I'm like a casual.
DFA.
I'm not a huge NFL fan, but I am a huge football fan.
Yeah, I mean he doesn't count as a casual.
But no, my point is, when I say casual fans, are you a Rams fan?
Oh, fuck no.
Are you a Bengals fan?
I was tonight.
Yeah, but that's the definition of a casual fan. When you can just be like, I'll follow these people for this game. You tuned in because it was a big game, not because you had a player in the game that you cared about. Like, the closest I came to caring about this game was the head coach of one of the teams was a quarterback for the college that I sort of care about, mostly because I was born in a state, and if you don't care about that team in this state, they throw you off the cliff like that the disabled people in 300.
They failed you. They were supposed to throw you off a cliff.
They really were. I was able to slip through. I was like the guy in 300 that the parents chose not to throw off the cliff, and so I'm approaching Leonidas like, let me into your army. Look, that's me when it comes to Husker fandom.
Yep,
Husker
that
fandom.
look on your face says it all, JLB.
Have you not seen 300?
I have. It's just your rendition of it is a bit much.
Well, it was a little bit of Quasimodo mixed with my precious.
Yeah, it was weird. I was like, Lord of the Rings? What's happening here? What's going on?
Speaking of Lord of the Rings, they did have the ad for the prequel Amazon show. That was cool.
Oh, did they? Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it didn't air during the Super Bowl, but the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness trailer dropped. That's fucking awesome.
They aired the Moon Knight one during Super Bowl.
The new footage for Moon Knight was fucking dope. I love Moon Knight. Moon Knight's a character from Marvel that I've always enjoyed because he's fucking psycho. Really, I mean he's got multiple personalities. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. It's great. There were other commercials were disappointing.
Best commercial of the Super Bowl.
Doritos.
I preferred the Disney Plus goat one. That was me. I liked all those goats.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was really funny.
That was
the Doritos one was good too. That was one I said to my wife, she's gonna probably watch a bunch because she loves sloths and she really loves those new hot Doritos.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
I think mine would have to go with Mike Myers, Dr. Evil. I thought that was great. But
I missed a bunch of that one because I had a 4-year-old who.
That was fun. Even the NFL commercial was great.
There was toilet training involved. We'll leave it at that. But yeah, no. Most of the commercials were pretty disappointing. I'm frustrated that three of them were wasted.
I'm hittable.
3 of them were wasted on cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, one of them worked on you. One of them worked on you.
The thing is, it worked because it had a QR code, and I'm a fucking nerd. And I'm like,
that was
what the QR
that
code
was
does.
for fucking ever, man.
Yeah, well, I think it was a minute commercial.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like,
the thing is,
literally just
if we talk about the commercials from an efficacy standpoint, not from an entertainment standpoint, because we'll agree the more entertaining commercials were our favorites, but from an effectiveness standpoint, that commercial crashed that website multiple times.
I bet. Yeah,
that commercial got so much response that website, Coinbase.com, was like, fuck it, I don't know what to do. I'm done.
Hashtag still not sponsored.
I'm out. I can't do it. Nope. I got all this crypto, but I can't keep my website going. I'm done. Guess I'm out.
The Mayo one was pretty good too with Pete Davidson. I like that. Yeah, there's a few nice ones. The Sopranos one, that was kind of dope.
The Larry David one,
fuck a car.
that one kind of cracked me up. Where he's like, "No, trust me, I'm good at this." Excuse me, jeez, I'm dying. Anyways,
yeah,
I think that's my cue to finish.
You ain't dying, up. You ain't trying. Man up. Sorry.
Oh, Anna, we're talking about Israeli food when they were in the desert. Manna?
Yeah.
Anyways, so on that note, we'll finish wrapping this up here.
Wrap it up.
Thanks to anyone who joined us for the live stream. Midnight Murder, Big JC65. There was one other person who commented.
Mark Jack too.
Yep. Mark Jack commented last week too, so he's a return commenter.
Thank you, guys.
But thank you all for joining us. We would love to have even more people join us. So make sure to come back Tuesday nights and Sunday nights, 10:30 Central. We do this live stream every week. If it's after a pay-per-view, we're going to be talking about the pay-per-view. But if otherwise, we just talk
after
about
a major domestic pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't
Yep.
want to talk about Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're not going to talk about it. I will talk about it. I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to
not gonna
talk
do
about it
best
from
or
all the
worst.
shit that I found
Let's
out
talk
later.
about Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. But anyways, we'd love to have you join us. If you can't, we keep the replays up on Facebook and YouTube indefinitely. On Twitch, they're up for 15 days until Twitch just automatically removes them because Twitch doesn't give a fuck about
Side note,
things.
go to Twitch. Like us
Yep.
on Twitch.
Like us on Twitch. Yeah, we mentioned this on the FBI last week. Twitch is where we'd really like to focus. If you watch us on YouTube, great. Go follow us on Twitch as well, because we are going to be doing some Twitch exclusive streams. Some of our live react videos, stuff like that, are going to be only on Twitch. And so like I did a live react for Royal Rumble a couple weeks ago. The entire 5 hours.
Yeah, you're crazy.
Of it.
I
But
joined
it
you
was-
for the men's rumble, and that was
But it was only on Twitch. So if you want to watch us and catch all of the ones we do, Twitch is where to go. But we do also put most of the stuff up as audio podcasts as well still, just like normal. So if you'd rather, you're one of those people who just prefers to listen to it like while you're working out or working or whatever, right? You can still find us wherever you get your podcasts, just like we've always been for the last fucking 3 years that we've been doing this, right? But you can follow us on social media. You can follow me pretty much any social media at Raw and Order WBU, just like it is right there. You think after as long as we've
Glad
been
you
doing
found
this,
it, bud.
yeah, as long as we've been doing this, I'd be better at pointing at it right away. But guess what? I'm gonna throw it to Da Fabe, and he's going to
Also,
struggle.
you need to point at your hat
Just
and
the thing.
say,
Yep. You
except
can
for Facebook.
except for
where it's
Facebook,
at.
where we're at Pissant Podcast. I
You
might
did that
update
one
some of the other
perfectly.
ones for Pissant Podcast because I like that better, anyways. But Raw and Order WBU is what we've been named since the beginning. You can follow Da Fabe at.
DA Vincent Gabriel.
Yep, you weren't much better, were you?
Well, I did that on purpose.
Oh, sure you
Otherwise,
did.
I
Yeah.
don't know that.
Sure you did.
And I'd
Yeah,
have
I
been a
did.
little bit
I
too
did
much.
that on purpose. Yeah, I totally meant it.
Well, when it's only me on the screen, it's a lot easier than if it's all three of us like this. Or when I can't do it, when I'm doing it for JLB at JLB420.
You can follow me right here. I'm pointing at it at JLB4. Well, hold on. Jesus. At JLB420, or it can be at Real Talk Radio 8. Real Talk Radio is the brand, of course, where you can follow and listen to my podcast, anchor.fm/RTR. We talk about music, movies, a little bit of everything, entertainment, and so please feel free to join me. What did you guys do? Jesus. Damn it. Do not follow him. Just follow JLB420.
If I
What's
leave
funny
it like
is,
that, maybe on his criminal podcast where he's cheating on us.
yeah. Well,
He'll
what's really
accidentally
funny
do that.
is it was a series of changes. Because first I changed it to JLB as a whore, and then when
Yeah.
he changed it, it reverted that part, but then changed his part. So, too much fun.
Let you guys
Anyways,
have fun. I just choose not to acknowledge it.
but yeah,
You
that'll bring
will
us.
acknowledge. I acknowledged you that you're
As
going
my
to be
next
my
victim.
next victim.
But on that note, we're going to
awesome.
go ahead and close the book on the wrestling booking unit. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you soon.
Also, Hook is awesome.